Welcome to J Talk Raw. I finally got Raul back in the studio. What's up, Raw?
What's up, suckers?
Not only did I get Raul back because he fucking abandoned us for 3 weeks, but I got Drem in the studio. What's good, Drem?
What's up? Good to be back, and welcome back, Raw.
For real, Raw. Fucking 3 weeks. You know, I had people legitimately asking me, like, I'll tell you one, and he knows, he's listening to this. This asshole was like, so what's up with that's it? The show's over? And I'm like, no. I'm like, it's not.
Which one of the 120 folks that consistently follow us told you that?
it's our good friend Helmet.
Oh, bless his heart.
Yeah,
I love Helmet.
He's a resident.
That's dope. I'm glad he's a regular.
Yeah,
welcome
he
to the
is.
Club, brother.
He was
part of the
like,
Elite 120.
What happened to the show?
126.
What happened to the show? He's like, what happened? I said, no. I said, Raul's out of fucking town. Here's what happened, people. Raul. I texted Raul. I always text Raul, hey, tomorrow, 6:30, we're good. And he hits me up and he goes, I have an emergency. And some of you might have seen the Instagram post where he had this emergency. And then all of a sudden he's in fucking Dallas and he's flipping off the Cowboy Stadium with this white woman in a convertible Mustang.
It was brilliant. That was a great shot.
I said,
that was so good. I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist.
That's the emergency. So I want to know, please tell all our audience what the fuck the emergency was. And also number two, just real quick, bro, you gotta be careful. You can't be fucking flipping off the Dallas Cowboys I
was in the hood. You guys
Dallas.
don't know, but Arlington, where the Cowboys Stadium is the hood. That little area is legit. It's very similar. I would compare it to like downtown LA. If you go west, you're in the hood. Very similar in Arlington, but their hood is a lot prettier than our hood. But it's totally very, very, very hood, right? It's just a different kind.
It's where that cowboy did a drive-by with his homies.
Yep.
And he was in the car.
Yeah. So what would you say? What was the emergency?
What the fuck did you have to go do in Dallas? I guess what I'm asking is, listen, I know you had to go work, but
why?
What is so... Listen, not everybody has to take off to Dallas on an emergency for work. So explain to, or is it just that you do this shit for free and somebody's paying you on that end, or
no? I guess to give you a little bit of context, I don't think we've really talked about work very much with the audience, but what I do is I'm a national director of recruiting for a large international company, right? And I take care of North America. So, what I do that I guess is special is I drive the company forward, right? Like my job is from a talent perspective is to drive the company forward. And for me, that means you go out and find the most fucking talented people, almost like it's not like whatever it costs to get them because, we're also like any other company, we're budgeted, right? But to aggressively go after the absolute best talent in the country, right? So, but see, it's not just going out and hiring really amazing people, like being good at predicting whether people will be good. It's like the way I teach like my team, right? My recruiters is you're trying to find Kobe in high school, right? You're trying to predict who is going to fucking come on and be a rock star and change the game for us, right?
And you don't even get to scout. You just get to interview on this when you get them in.
I don't interview anymore. My team interviews.
Yeah,
my team interviews, right? But I set the policy. I set the infrastructure, their incentive programs, their incentive programs. Basically, the way that the company functions. Like, if you come on as a salesperson, I have an influence over how you'll be paid, what your experience is like once you're hired. So, one of those things that I have influence over, I'm not fully responsible for, is training. And so, I'm telling them, look, we're losing people when they finally come on board with us. We're losing them because we don't train them well enough. It's like, you get like really great people, but you still got to show them how to do it our way and nurture them. And we weren't doing that. And so I said, look, you could do this within 1 week if you do it well. And everybody in the company tells me it's not possible, Raul. You can't do it. And I said, of course it's possible. I've seen it done. I know it's done. I'm going to tell you guys something. I've never seen it done, but I have a dream that it could be done right. And it could be, and I really believe it. You could do it in a week if you do it right. So they basically kind of like said, well, it's not going to happen. And I said, damn, of course it's going to happen. And so training was started that Monday and things weren't going well. So it's Tuesday, it's Monday night. I get the news, and I'm like, I'm jumping on a plane tomorrow morning.
That's when I texted you Monday night.
You text me, you text me Tuesday morning. I was at the airport when you texted me. And I called you literally while I'm waiting to board. And that's when we had that conversation, right? But so Tuesday morning, I fly out. I get there at 12 o'clock. And from 12 o'clock, the time I left on Friday, I am helping to drive the ship. I'm not a bully, but to a certain degree, I'm saying like,
you're getting shit done.
Yes, we're moving the ship forward. And you know what? Amazing work we did that week. Like, it wasn't me that made that happen. It was the team that like really got to. But anyways, I had to be there for that. Like, they had to. I feel like I'm telling them, hey, go do something amazing. But I'm going to sit back in, California and you guys do it. Like, I had to go in there and show them, like,
you had to lead.
I'll sweat because we're in a warehouse, like showing installers how to install. So we were sweating balls, 104 degrees in Dallas. Jeez. And I'm in a warehouse, bro, like sweating balls with them, like whatever it takes, So anyway,
and you have to lead, right? Like that's the thing about a leader. You got to go out there and fucking lead.
Yeah.
But it looked like you were having fun. I
do have a lot of fun, though.
A convertible Mustang.
That was great.
He took every opportunity he could to flip off my Cowboys. And the Emmitt Smith one, I was like, damn, dog. Like, it's one thing to do it to the star, but this motherfucker goes up to Emmitt Smith's jersey and is flipping it off. Like, you're going to get fucked up in Dallas.
I did that at the when you arrive in DFW, which is Dallas Fort Worth Airport, there are Dallas Cowboys stores. So I did that in the terminal.
What an asshole.
I'm Dick. Yeah. Everybody saw me, looked at me like, oh, you're disgusting.
I know we had instead of segueing into, I don't want to listen. There's something more interesting I want to ask you about. That is Texas football is different than.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That was a cool one. Right. We kind of started talking about this, and I figured I'd rather kind of be here to tell you about it. But it really is different. It's like, I was with that girl. She's like a very casual football fan, right? She's into it just because her boyfriend's into it, but she was so offended when I flipped off the Cowboys.
You can see it in the video. She goes, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, she was so hurt. Like it was like no. She's never seen anybody do anything like that.
I've grown up around you assholes, around you fucking Raider fans. Where my whole life I've been used to this fucking abuse from Raider fans.
Yeah.
So when you,
I was used to abusing, right? And so it was like a little out of place for her. But but I'll tell you that. When you talk to people out there, look, it's not that there's nothing to do in Dallas. There's plenty of things to do, but it's different.
I just think football's different in Texas.
Oh, like college. Forget about it. You know what somebody told me? They're like, you got to come back in September, October, and just come to a high school football game. I said, which high school? He said, any.
Right. Have you guys seen the high schools?
It's unbelievable. He's like, the stands are, and we drove by high school. The stands are crazy at high school football games. He's like, you don't understand. Everybody comes out in the town. It's even if your son doesn't play, doesn't matter. You're still there. It's like the thing to do on Friday nights.
Bro, my uncles, grew up in a small town in Texas, in a very small town in Fabens, Texas, and like they played football and they were big. I think they lost at state or some shit like that, but. I always thought like growing up, it was just stories that your uncle. I thought it was like the uncle from Napoleon Dynamite, fucking with the videos. But even when he had his like reunion recently, and it was on Facebook and everything, like they had him at the center of the fucking group. His high school jersey is still in the school in Texas, and it's a small town. But it's because I think that you're right. That is, there's not that there's nothing to do. But when you live in a small town and everybody's invested into the sports, it's like Friday Night Lights. I don't know if you guys ever seen Friday Night Lights. Like my uncles played Odessa because they were in Fabens, so they played the Premium Panthers and stuff like that. So they have newspaper clippings. Like Texas football is just on a different level.
So what happened to you though?
Because
you got these like uncles that set records and they got jerseys and you're just an unathletic ass motherfucker.
No, it was weed.
What happened to your life? Where did you go wrong?
It was Huntington Park. That's what it'll do at Huntington Park. You know what's funny is that his son is like 6'4". He's 14 years old. He plays baseball. He just got accepted into like Notre Dame and Chatsworth. Like he's a full on athlete. But what it was with me is honestly yeah, you're right. Huntington Park, Maywood. It was just too easy to fucking chase the lotero and hit the liquor store on the corner, eat Cheetos, and be on the P line. Yeah.
This goes out to all the dads. Please don't raise Jesse.
Yeah, don't let your kids go to the liquor store and don't let them hang out. If their friends come around screaming, Jesse,
it's fucking unused talent. He's tall, semi-handsome when he's not so fat. He's so and but somehow just threw his life away to Cheetos.
Low-key, I've thought about it before, like how much money I must have made the liquor store on the corner of my grandma's house. Listen, I wanted to talk with you about this. I'm kind of upset with you that you didn't finish Obi-Wan because I was on you about it.
So I'm caught up except for the last episode. Which is like epic episode. I keep hearing about. Everybody's talking about. I can't believe I didn't watch it before I came here.
I can't even give you the courtesy of not.
This is going to be a spoiler alert for anybody listening to this episode. And you know what? I deserve this torture.
Yeah, you're a dick. Like, it's fucking homework. This was your homework.
This is my homework. I've let you guys down.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to have to suffer for it. So you guys are going to have to tell me, like, what the freaking hell happened? Like, what? Like, everybody and their mother is talking about this episode.
So I think we can talk about, number one, the show. Like, you've seen the show.
Yeah. Show's
and
amazing.
Drem, I know you finished it as well.
Yeah, really good, really good.
So, for me, I was talking to Drem about this before, is that I'm somebody who grew up on Star Wars, and now I feel that Star Wars is like, it's our Odyssey, it's our Greek mythology, and the stories are there. And I know people are hearing me and they're like, fucking nerd, but I've watched this from like not just the movies to the side movies like Rogue One and the Han Solo story, the cartoons, Rebels, and Clone Wars. And what's really special about this is that this wasn't a money grab for Disney. They really went out of their way to know the lore and to connect dots that were really like, they didn't have to, but they did it for the fans. Like they didn't do this for a new audience. You know what I'm saying? Like they could have just threw lightsabers around and brought in these kids that think it's cool. Like my kid that's 5 years old and just is in it for the lights. This was really for like the story of Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker. Like he meets him as a kid, and he meets him with Qui-Gon Jinn, who's the master, and the guy Qui-Gon Jinn adopts Anakin to raise him. And then when he dies, Obi-Wan loves his master, and the last thing the master asks him is to raise this kid. He's the chosen one. I believe in him. Please do this for me. So he's not necessarily a father figure. He's like a big brother figure. He's like a big brother if your dad died. So they grow up together. And this, because you see them in episode 1, he's a little kid. And then episode 2, he's like a teenager. And then on the last Revenge of the Sith, that's when he becomes Darth Vader. But he's a semi-grown man. He's supposed to be like in his 20s. And that's when he chooses the dark side and all this stuff. But in between when he becomes Darth Vader and then the next time we see Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, Obi-Wan's like old. Like he's an old man. Luke Skywalker's grown up, and there's nothing in between. They did such a good job of showing that, number one, Obi-Wan's heartbreak over, his failure, because he was raising this kid. He was supposed to train him. He was his master. That was his apprentice. Whenever I think a mentor fails, he puts it on himself.
Like me with you.
No.
The way Obi-Wan feels is when I look at you, that's how I feel. I feel like I fucked up so bad.
Well, you should have watched.
It puts me in depression sometimes.
You should have watched the last episode, because then you would have watched Darth Vader be like, "I'm not your mistake, Obi-Wan. I'm my own fucking." There's this great scene. And look, spoiler alert for any of you fuckers out there, because if you didn't watch it, you fucked up. But just like Raul fucked up. But there's this great scene, Drem, you're gonna back me up, when Obi-Wan, they're fighting. First of all,
wait, who's fighting?
Okay, so here's what's going on. Here, let me set it up for you.
We're all like lost.
The last time we saw him on the previous episode, Obi-Wan. The last time we see Obi-Wan on the previous episode, he escapes Darth Vader.
Yes, that was an epic scene.
Darth Vader now is chasing this ship in space.
Oh, so Darth like runs back to his ship.
Very reminiscent of A New Hope, because the very opening scene of A New Hope is Darth Vader shooting at Leia's ship. Very similar, so they're playing back to The New Hope. And then Obi-Wan says, he's not going to give up. I have to take off on a pod because he's going to catch us. There's no way we escape. I have to take off and he's going to follow me. And they're like, no, what if he doesn't? They're like, he's like, he is. Because again, he knows Darth Vader so well. And at this point, in all the other episodes, it's built up to Obi-Wan didn't know that Anakin was Darth Vader. Now he really feels that he failed. Not only did he fail Anakin, but he failed to kill him because that was his responsibility to take him out. But he let his heart get in the way, which the Jedi are not supposed to let happen. So now Obi-Wan knows he has to face this. This is his mistake. He has to man up to it. But he's having the hardest time in the world manning up to it. But he knows he has to. So he goes off and he lands on this planet to face Darth Vader. Darth Vader goes, he tells everybody, I'm going on my own. And he goes down there. So, you know,
holy shit.
Obi-Wan is standing there. He's just standing there.
Waiting for him.
He's waiting for him. So you see Darth Vader gets off. Darth Vader makes eye contact with him, like he sees him. And then he starts walking over to him. And they go at it, bro. And there's this great scene where like... Putazos. But the great part is that you think like, oh shit, they're gonna go at it, but Obi-Wan does this thing when he uses the Force, and Darth Vader's like, oh, you've got your powers on. He's like, but I'm a fucking beast, and he starts fucking Obi-Wan up. Fucks him up so bad, he buries him with rocks. He uses the Force and he's destroying mountains and he's fucking burying Obi-Wan. And you think Obi-Wan... I don't think
I've seen the Force do that.
You're like, Obi-Wan's dead, right? And you see Obi-Wan is underneath all these rocks and he's using the Force just to have enough room space to show him, right? So Darth Vader goes, you know...
Totally
he goes, I told you I would destroy you. And then he fucking turns around and starts walking away. And Obi-Wan is having like this epiphany underneath the rocks. You see him like having this, I don't know how to explain it. Like he's going through all these emotions and he finally understands like, okay, what I have to do. And he blows, they don't show him like blow the rocks off, right? But they show him that he's going through something. And then the next scene is Darth Vader walking in the dark. And then he like stops. And he feels something, and then when he turns on his lightsaber, Obi-Wan's coming down on him with his lightsaber, like boom, right? And then there's this epic scene because Obi-Wan's like bam, bam, hitting him with the lightsaber. There's also something about his stance that is, if you're a big Star Wars fan, you understand that the stance where he holds the lightsaber up above his head and he points like with two fingers out. He's only done that a couple of times, and there's meanings behind it. Like it's his, when he was a general, that's the way he fought. When he was like, just a teacher, he held it in front of him. Like all this has meanings. But anyways, he starts fighting Darth Vader. Now you can see that Obi-Wan's powerful. And there's this moment where Obi-Wan puts his hands out, like almost like Jesus, right? He puts his hands out and all the rocks and all the like boulders behind him levitate up into the air. And then they just start offline at Darth Vader. Zoop, 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 zoop. And Darth Vader's getting hit like, bah, bah. And then Obi-Wan flies at, like he jumps and takes a slash at Darth Vader and hits him in the helmet. So he knocks like a quarter of his mask off. And now at this point, you can hear the breathing of a normal person. Like it's half and half. Like it's the mask, but you can hear him. So now Obi-Wan, they put the camera on Obi-Wan's eyes, and this is the brilliance of like filmmaking. When they show Obi-Wan's face, it's illuminated by the blue of the lightsaber. Man, you know, it's
his lightsaber. Yeah,
his lightsaber, and his eyes are watery, and he's like, Anakin. And Anakin is like, you can hear his voice and you can see his face. Like you can see still the remnant, like he's burned, but you can still see Anakin. And he has this emotional where his eyes are watering. He says, Anakin, I'm sorry. He's like, and I'm sorry for all of it. I'm sorry. And Anakin, half Darth Vader voice, half Anakin's voice. He goes, I am not your mistake. He's like, I killed Anakin Skywalker. And then he, like, as he's saying it, he goes, I destroyed Anakin Skywalker, just like I'll destroy you. And then it's like Darth Vader's voice again. And his face is lit up red with the red lightsaber. So Obi-Wan looks at him and he's crying, but then he understands. He says, and again, going back to A New Hope, and I'll tell you why. He goes, so then my friend is really dead. And he
right. He's no longer fighting Anakin.
He's not fighting Anakin. And now he understands, like, the release. This is the relief.
Right.
Like, this whole time his heart's been heavy because this is Anakin. I love him. I raised him. But at that moment he realizes this isn't Anakin. This is Darth Vader.
Son of a biscuit.
But in true Jedi fashion, in empathy, he turns off his lightsaber and walks away.
What the
And Anakin is he's hurt.
This frustrates me.
He's hurt. He can't fight anymore. And he's screaming. He's like, Obi-Wan! Obi-Wan! And it's like half Anakin, half Darth Vader. So it's like James Earl Jones.
God.
And he's like, Obi-Wan! And that's...
And
he goes, Obi-Wan goes off, and he goes off to see Leia. You know, and he tells her, like, this great thing. But then throughout the show, Luke's uncle, just like in the New Hope, doesn't want Obi-Wan anything to do with Luke, you know? So he goes back and he tells him, like, look, I'm gonna back off, but I'm gonna keep a watch, right? And then Luke's uncle feels
Luke is Darth
Vader's
Anakin's
son.
Yes.
Anakin's son. He's the one from the originals.
Right, the little kid.
So then the uncle feels bad and he goes to Obi-Wan, he goes, look, you want to meet him? So then you see Obi-Wan walk up to Luke, and then he does the famous Obi-Wan. He goes, hello there. You know,
that's
that he did from the original one, that he did from Attack of the Clones when he fights Grievous. He's like, hello there, you know? And also, now here's where I geek out, okay? The ship that, I don't know if you knew this, Drem, but the ship that Obi-Wan has as a toy that he's trying to give to Luke, you know, when he goes to meet him, if you watch A New Hope, the 1979 movie, when Luke is in the you know, he buys the droids and he's cleaning them up. At one point, CP3PO is like dipping into like a jacuzzi type of thing. It's right before they see the message, Obi-Wan, you're my only hope. Luke is playing with the spaceship, and that's the spaceship that Obi-Wan gifted him when he was a kid. So they found that minute detail. And also another thing is that in the original movie, in A New Hope, the very first one, when Luke asks Obi-Wan about his dad, he tells him, there's a great YouTube video. It's called Obi-Wan Has PTSD. I sent it to you. And in it, you know, Obi-Wan, it's the very first time Luke and Obi-Wan talking. He goes, what happened to my dad? And he goes, you know, he was a great pilot. He was my best friend and a cunning warrior. And he says, what happened to him? And then Obi-Wan goes into thought. Like he stares off into the blankness and he goes, you know, he was killed by a dark Jedi named Darth Vader, who was once a pupil of mine until he turned to the dark side. And he goes, he deceived your father and murdered him, you know? So this whole time, you know, before Obi-Wan, the show comes out, you think to yourself, even as a kid, you think like fucking Obi-Wan lied to him, you know, because in that scene, like, I am your father.
It makes so much sense. Why? Son of a gun.
Right. That's so what you missed.
You need to watch it.
You need to watch.
That's so effing brilliant, dude. That's I can't wait to watch it. Even though it's a little spoiled, but like I'm still gonna enjoy like
the cinematic of it is so good. Like
you know, I read the I forgot his name, but he's the guy who was CEO of Disney. You know, through this entire I told you about it, but he was CEO of Disney, which kind of remember Disney before Pixar, right?
Yeah,
it was dying. And then it came back after Pixar. Well, you know, he's the one that was responsible for
Eisner?
That Pixar. Eisner, yep.
Eisner, yeah.
Eisner was responsible. He was like vice president, almost got fired when the whole shakeup happened because he had a boss. He was right underneath the CEO and he was supposed to be the next guy up. But then his boss this Disney CEO gets fired because Disney's going into the tank. Then this guy's about to get fired because he was a number 2 to the president.
Yep.
But he doesn't. They spared him. And a new CEO comes in and he doesn't really do a good job either. And so now Disney's looking for another CEO that's going to transform the company. And they didn't want anybody anybody from Disney, especially this guy who helped drive Disney who they thought helped drive Disney into the ground, but that wasn't true. It was that other guy, right? But anyways, regardless of the fact, right? This guy gets the job and he strikes the deal with Steve. Steve was like, fuck Disney, because Disney was they were so hyped about who they were that they were like, fuck you, Pixar. Like,
Steve Jobs' company.
We're Disney. Mm-hmm. And Steve was like, well, fuck you guys then. And they couldn't agree on a distribution deal. Long story short, he makes that deal happen.
Toy Story.
Becomes one of Steve Jobs' best friends, like true best friends. And by the way, Toy Story was done before. They were already working together. But the deal was like Disney was supposed to get a certain percentage, but then Steve was like, for like 3 movies, and then they had Toy Story. If Toy Story had sequels, Disney owned them too.
Wow.
So it's 5 original movies plus the sequels. So Pixar was like, fuck you, this deal doesn't work. I'm not making any more movies with you guys. I'll do something else, right? And so the distribution deal was done. And so and Disney was so stubborn about it that they didn't want to play ball with Steve Jobs. So Steve Jobs fucking walked away in his aggressive form, right? Long story short, he makes that deal with Pixar once he becomes the CEO. Now he has the power to make the deal. And him and Steve were good, became really good friends. He was the first person he told about cancer, by the way. That's how close they got. But then, he turns Disney around, right? Pixar blows up and it becomes what it becomes, right? They're one company, but they're separate.
Completely changed animation.
Yep. And then the Marvel deal happened. He had an opportunity to buy Marvel. And part of the reason that Marvel sold was because they did such a good job with Pixar, right? Marvel then blows up too, right? And it's become what it's become. And he did it because he was a creative guy. Like he allowed people to be great. He just funded it, right? And he kind of kept Marvel sort of separate, but gave it all the Disney horsepower and all the resources that Disney had, because they still had that. They just lost the creative part, right? Like those juices. Then when he went to Lucas, that's who owned, right? When he went to Lucas was sketched out. He didn't even want to meet with him, but he finally does take the meeting because everybody's encouraging him. And at the time, Lucas was this like shoddy little brand, had their own artists, their own stuff, but they were making like one movie every million years. And Lucas was like terrified that what Disney would do to the
franchise.
Brand. Yeah. So and by the way, he wanted more money. He wanted even $1 more than what Marvel got paid, because he knew how much Marvel got, and he wanted at least $1 more. He wanted to say yes, but he didn't. He ended up getting more. He got less. But and he wanted to have creative power over the process moving forward. He wanted to say what was going to happen and how it was going to happen. And Disney was like, dude, I can't promise you that. I can't do that. You have to trust that we're going to do a good job and we will listen to you. You're George Lucas. Of course we universe. Want to yes, but you have to understand that if it comes down to it's this or that, we're going to make the final decision. And there was all these stories about like him getting pissed off with Disney because they didn't let him in. They shut him out a couple of things. But you know what? Today he's happy. He ended up being really happy with the way Disney took care of the franchise, but that was engineered by Lucas. Yeah. He made sure that they were going to do a good job, and now they're moving. Now you look at it, they've done a great job. Yeah, with Pixar, Marvel, and the Star Wars franchise.
I think that you have to have fresh blood at some point in order to keep it fresh. Dave Filoni, the guy who did The Last Airbender on Nickelodeon, came in and did the Clone Wars. He did Rebels. He did Mandalorian with Jon Favreau, who also did Iron Man. Jon Favreau was one who started the MCU with Iron Man. And then, the Russo brothers did the Avengers, but Jon Favreau even had a executive producer and like input on the MCU. So like to me, George Lucas, in his time, like you got to hand it off. You got to give it to fresh blood. Kathleen Kennedy is a producer as well. She's been overlooking all the Star Wars for Disney. They've done a great fucking job. Like I know a lot of people hate on the 3 new movies with Rey and I like them, man. I think you have to take them for what they are. You got to walk away at one point from the Skywalker saga, because if you keep milking that, eventually you'll burn it out. Like I really like where it's at right now, where they revisit a bunch of shit, like and do what they did with Obi Wan, where they like pluck at the strings of our nerd hearts, and to me, having my son experience Obi Wan versus Darth Vader the way I experienced it as a kid is amazing.
Pretty cool. Yeah, my son's still into it too. So,
Listen.
moving on from
To a darker
Obi
one.
Wan to something a little bit darker, talking about darkness. What's his name? RKelly got sentenced to 30 freaking years today.
Oh my!
That happened 2 days. Like what? It's June 29th to give you guys some context, but he got sentenced to 30 years.
That's a lot.
What do you think about that?
I think it's excessive. I think. Listen, I'm gonna catch some shit.
You were catching shit. This is fucking horrible.
No.
Did you see the documentary?
I started to, and then it felt biased. I'm not gonna lie to you. I felt biased.
You like the Trump supporters about January 6th?
No, I'm just like I watched too much.
The election was stolen.
Maybe I watched too much Boondocks. Did you guys ever watch Boondocks?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're a 15-year-old and you don't want to get peed on, you can move out of the way. Like when I was 15 and I was getting.
So there is some truth that. Here's the truth. Even the parents, right? Even the parents let them hang out with Kelly, their daughters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of them just didn't have parents, right? But they let them hang out because they thought they were going to get a record deal. These were mostly singers. And so there was a reason. Like they had this one really legit couple and their daughter was they were a Christian family. The dad's a pastor. And he thought she was like an artist. She was, and he was beating on her.
But for how long? Like, listen, we both have daughters. We both have daughters.
I understand what
at
you're
a certain
saying.
point.
And they did, and they cut it off. She's the one. But see, she was an early one.
Everybody knew about Aaliyah.
No, I know, but listen, you're blaming the victim.
I'm not blaming the victims. I'm saying is that 30 years. What's her name? The Epstein lady. She didn't get 30 years. They gave her sentence yesterday. They gave RKelly's today.
15, 20, something.
She had an island. She had
20.
She had an island of fucking rape, and
she was not the main person.
She was a pimp.
She was contributor, but she wasn't like abusing.
But R. Kelly did not get charged for abusing.
That seems pretty like fair.
R. Kelly got
the pimp gets 20 years, and the abuser got 30.
R. Kelly got charged,
or got killed, or hung himself, or arguably got killed in jail.
They were saying that R. Kelly got charged with racketeering. That's what he got the most.
Yes, but when you look at it in the context of like the abuser versus the pimp, it seems fair. Like 20 versus 30. Sure, I could just forget about the charge. Just pimp gets 20, the culprit gets 30. Fucking A.
Bill Cosby's out and posting on Instagram while R. Kelly's in 30 years.
Yeah, but it's the same thing you could say about like murderers, but OJ's out. So it's like a false comparison.
No, because Cosby got found guilty. And then he got out.
Yeah, well, because he won in court, though. He won the appeal.
I don't know. I just think 30 years.
R. Kelly's going to appeal. Maybe he'll get out. But either way, he lost the fucking appeal.
I think 30 years is a whole lot.
You fucking abuse girls.
No, it's not that.
Watch your daughters around this scumbag of a human.
No. Listen here. Let me don't jump off real quick. Look, it's one thing.
I'm disgusted by your face.
This is bad. Look, it's one thing if you're a molester abuser, right? But if you're an abuser who could fucking sing, that's all I'm saying. Like,
JJ was Drem. Listen, JJ was like, but did you hear him sing in jail?
All I'm saying,
it's just so good.
Yes, I did tell him that. I said, did you?
I'm not trying to be rude.
You haven't seen those videos? You haven't seen those videos? Have you guys seen this, where R. Kelly is? It's a cellmate's his daughter's birthday. So he puts R. Kelly on the phone with his daughter, and his daughter's like, "Sing me a song," and R. Kelly's like, "No," and then she's like, "Come on," and he's like, "I don't sing nothing wrong." And he starts singing. He still got it in jail.
I want to hear him singing this shit in jail.
Listen. I love me some R. Kelly, dog. There's this amazing. He's made some
Michael
amazing.
Jackson still.
I love Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle said it. Listen, if we have to sacrifice a couple kids. We had to sacrifice a couple kids for Michael Jackson.
That's fucking horrible.
He's the king of pop.
This is a horrible conversation. R. Kelly is no Michael Jackson.
Oh, but he's the king of R&B.
There's interviews with R. Kelly, and this I did go down a little bit of I didn't go deep. I probably watched maybe like 45 minutes of that thing. But there's one part where they're talking to his brother, and R. Kelly was abused as a kid. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah.
He even was having sex with one of his sisters or cousins when he was like fucking 12.
I'm like, none of my business.
10, 11, 12, some shit like that. But he was, and that's where he gets it from.
I stay in my own business, dog.
Well, what's crazy is R. Kelly still stands trial again in August in Chicago.
Does he? For what? Same shit? Different people?
For producing child pornography and luring minors into sex acts.
Damn.
So he can still get more years added onto what he's already.
He's still on my Spotify library.
He gonna retire in jail.
Have you guys
he's
not?
only 55.
Listen, I forgive him for Trapped in the Closet. That was 15 parts of glory. Have you not? There's a midget that comes out of the sink in that fucking video. You haven't seen that?
What is it called?
It's Trapped in the Closet.
It's a song video?
It's a music video. It's like a movie.
It's a series of music videos.
It's a song movie.
Yeah, it's a series of like, it's crazy.
But it starts off with like, listen, he's not, at no point does he stop and talk. He's singing throughout this 15-part video. And he starts off with like, I'm trapped in the club. No, I'm with this girl. I just met her at the club. And now I hear her. I hear the keys coming. Oh no, it's her husband. And then he's like, the wife tells me, get in the closet. I'm like, I can't get in the closet. He's like, here comes my husband. Get in the closet. So I get in the closet. You know? It's so good.
I didn't see that shit.
Bro, it's so, and let me tell you, I'm
there.
gonna skip so much, okay? But at one point, okay, it turns out it spins where like the guy that he's fucking the guy's wife. He's like, you know, he comes out of the closet and he's like, I got a gun, and he's got a gun, and then he's like, so he looks at his wife and he goes, I was cheating on you too, and she's like, was it my sister? And he's like, it wasn't your sister, and then he goes, it was a mister. Oh, you know, so like every episode he ended on a cliffhanger like that, and like 13 in,
what the hell
13
is this?
in, right? 13 episodes in, he's like, so he's like, so he goes, so I told her, bitch, you a bitch. And he's like, I know you a dick. And then he goes, where is the man in this house? She opens the sink. It was a midget, you know. I forgive RKelly, dog. Listen, that's fucking genius. You can never make that up. Not only that, okay, he's got another song, and this is where we'll end RKelly, because this is why I love him so much. He's got another song where it's about a girl hitting him up at the club, and the girl's like, I know you're at the club, and he's like, I'm not. He's like, you gonna believe your girlfriends? And then at one point the music stops and he goes, how do they know I'm here? They don't know I'm here. Bitch, stop believing your friends. And but the whole song is like him telling her, like, bitch, shut the fuck up. How do you know I'm at the club with my friends?
Ruthless mother effer.
He was so awesome.
He told I forgot who he told. He told he was like his pastor or something. Like, it's not like, oh no, he's telling his brother. There's a like a big old poster of him, and he's like, he makes me do it. And his brother was like, who are you talking about? And he's talking about himself, but not himself. He's talking about RKelly. Like, RKelly made him do these fucking sick things. Fine. He's like, I don't want to do them, but it's like Darth Vader.
Fine, okay.
Like,
let's compromise. Let's compromise. Okay, we'll lock him up, but give him a studio.
Lock him up.
But give him a studio and a producer.
So he can make songs.
So he can make music somewhere out there tonight.
Oh my God,
that's a fucking come on.
Savage.
Step in the name of love.
Himself back
Step
and forth.
In the name of love.
And crazy, I seen RKelly in concert like years ago when I was like in high school.
Tell me he didn't light that shit up, bro.
Oh, it was a fucking great show.
Come on,
he fucking killed it. Tupac was even there at the show.
What? You saw Tupac
in the parking lot that night with Suge? It was crazy, yeah. This was like in 95. I went with somebody I played baseball with. He won tickets, like giving away on Power 106.
You recognize it was Pac?
Wow. Yeah, because the whole crowd was around him, like in the parking lot. Yeah, like we were like, what the fuck is going on? You know, we were waiting to get picked up.
Wow.
We were like 14 years old, you know. We were waiting to get picked up by his parents, and we were in the parking lot, and there's a mob of people. And it was fucking Tupac.
Bro, that's fucking amazing.
But what was crazy, Suge Knight was right there just standing to the side because nobody knew who the fuck he really was, right?
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
One time, Raul fucking made me feel so bad, dog, because we used to give me rides home from work. And one day I'm like putting music in his fucking Camry, and I put Pac. And I'm all singing like All Eyes on Me, fucking verse for verse, right? Oh, and then this fool turns it down and he goes, you know what the difference is? is I actually liked him when he was alive. And I was like, fuck. He's like, I remember Pac when he was alive. You're just a dead Tupac fan. And I was like, exactly damn, like, why do you have to...
He was all passionate. You didn't impress me. You're fucking dumb. You don't impress me.
Like, bro, after that, I dove deep into like... I listened to all the albums, to the Machiavelli, to before like
the first ones,
the very first ones before he was on death row, you know, and just like the Thug Life albums. Yeah. So this fool can never ever say that I wasn't a fucking Tupac fan.
Talking about rap and about the goats of rap. You know, Kanye hasn't put out an album, so sorry everybody. I know that we're all disappointed that there's not any good music on. But Drake dropped another album that also fucking sucked balls.
It was like a dance album.
These are 2 back-to-back terrible albums by Drake. I'm woefully disappointed in Drake.
Relax.
The world is disappointing. Listen, I need some bangers, and I love Drake. But, you know, like, he did a great job on remodeling his house, but shit, man, listen, he just can't put out good music no more.
Number 1, Certified Lover Boy was not a bad album.
It was a terrible album.
You're tripping. There's some bangers on there.
Like which one?
Girls Love Girls.
That was not
the
a banger.
The one with 3 6 Mafia that he
wasn't
did.
A banger.
He has some good... You can't call that album a failure.
Like a cap gun. You know?
No, you can't call that album a failure.
It sounds like a banger.
I would measure...
You think it's a banger, but then you listen and you're like, that's not a real gun.
What bangers are of Donda 2 that came out on this... Or Donda 2.
Homie.
No, Donda 2 that came out on the same...
Donda 2 wasn't that good. That's why they put it on the stem player. You know what I mean?
But see, he was
I was just like... It's like, you know, like Jackass, and then like they have Jackass like 1, 2, 3, 4, but then they have Jackass 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5.
Okay.
It's like the half. You know, it's like the little extras. There's a little... You know, here's a little...
But Certified Lover Boy was not a bad album. This album, the one he put out now, I don't know. I think here's my opinion on it. No, here's my opinion on it. Drake is slowly, I don't want to say ruining hip hop, but this is how Drake changed hip hop. Because before Drake, you could not imagine a rapper coming out with a dance album where he's singing on every track. That doesn't happen.
But honestly, Drake's in his own category. He's
like
not
a pop.
He's a pop artist. He's always said that, you know. He's just heavily hip hop influenced, right? He still has love for the hip hop scene and the culture and all that, but he's an entertainer. He's gonna make the music like he wants to.
I don't think you can measure, like, it's unfair to put Drake's album against Kendrick's album. Like, those are 2 completely different. Like, I feel Kendrick's is a legit hip hop rap album. That he is, that's what he does. He's not trying to get on the pop charts. You know what I'm saying? Like, Drake is trying to do dance. I even felt that this album was for Europe. I was like, okay, this is what's cracking in Europe. Like, this is like the dance thing is going on in Europe. He's probably going to go do a tour out there and then do that. But see, then Kendrick drops his album, which is hip hop. And this is another thing that trips me out about Kendrick. And I love him for this. And I love hip hop as a culture. Did you guys see the show he did where he comes out with the $3 million crown? He's wearing this.
That was a $3 million crown.
It was a $3 million crown.
Bless his heart. That's badass.
And he was bleeding from it in the middle of the show when he's doing the song, right? But here's
by the way, that was
awesome. But here's what I like about it even more is that he's in fucking like, you know, Lithuania somewhere where these people, English is not their predominant language, but they're singing word for word. They're following Kendrick word for word. And I was like, damn, this is what they talk about when they say music crosses boundaries, you know, like it's crazy to see these European white, you know, European kids knowing this kid, following this kid from Compton word for word. That was amazing to me. And then he did the show, and at the end when he was bleeding, he was talking about the, you know, Roe versus Wade. He's like, they judge women, they judge Christ, they judge women, they judge Christ. And he did the mic drop. Get closer to the mic.
Oh my God, here we go. Roe versus Wade.
You know, I had a legit listen. I want to really talk to you about it. So get close or move the.
So real quick, what did you think about Drake album, Drem? You liked it?
No.
I'm sorry, the Kendrick.
The Kendrick album, yeah. Drake, no. Kendrick, I mean, he came out.
Do you think where would you put that album in all his albums?
Kendrick's album?
Yeah, the last one.
It's my least favorite out of all of those.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. But it's still a good album.
It totally sucked.
Oh, you think it sucked? I still thought it was good.
I think that did
I
you
wish
listen?
I could throw tomatoes at him.
No,
if I would have been at the runner show,
way.
I'd been walking up like if I'm modeling, and then I would have got a tomato and threw it at his stupid face with his raspy voice. I'm just kidding, Kendrick. I actually like Kendrick very much.
You don't?
But that was it was okay. No, I'm just kidding. I'm exaggerating a little bit, kind of. But I don't know. There wasn't like
there's a song to me. There's two songs to me that stand out. Okay, one of them is Father Time. And that one.
Is the one he's yelling at the girl? Like
no. Father Time is the one where he talks about how important father figures are, and he's speaking to this generation. Where he even has this great line that plucked the strings of my heart because of the way I grew up. But he says,
"How'd you grow up?"
My dad wasn't around, but shout out to my dad if he listens to this wherever the fuck you are. If they get this in a third world country, but Spotify. This is the only way I talk to I get to talk to my dad.
When this podcast blows up, he's gonna come looking for you. Where's my son?
But listen, damn, I feel so bad for saying that now.
Come down, look for me, motherfucker.
Anyways,
I took over.
So Kendrick says,
I'm Obi Wan, motherfucker.
I just realized.
I fucking raised your son, bitch.
I just realized.
Fucking shit. He's just a sperm donor. I'm his fucking dad.
Raul's gonna collect child support.
Yeah, you fucking owe me. He better not come. I talk shit.
He can't. He can't even be on Salvador right now.
Yeah, come get me. I'm really scared.
Anyways, Kendrick.
Shout out to Jesse's dad.
Shout out to my dad, wherever the fuck you are. No, but Kendrick says some dope shit on that. And then he's got the one with the girl where it's a full-fledged argument with the girl. And it's not him yelling at the girl. It's him going back and forth with it. I don't know, Drem, you heard that one?
That's horrible. Like,
no, that was...
that's fucking gross. It grossed me. I just can't relate. Like, I don't... What the fuck? Like, I can't relate to that. Like... I don't know anybody that talks to their wife like that.
They're not having a bad conversation. They're having an intelligent conversation. She's telling him, when he's being, what is that called? Like when he's being,
ghetto?
No. He's being, how do you say machista in English?
Oh, like
macho?
Yeah,
macho.
Something where she's telling him, like, listen, she's like, because he's telling her shit, like.
No, but he's like, fuck you, bitch.
No, that's the chorus. The chorus is them saying each other, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. But that's just the chorus to insinuate that they're fighting. But he tells her things like, I'm the one that held you down. And she says things like, you didn't hold, she says, you held me. held me around, held me down as something different. And then she tells them this is the reason why Harvey Weinstein got away with so much. This is the reason why people still listen to RKelly. She even brings up RKelly. She's like, this is the reason why people don't believe RKelly's victims. And he tells her, he's like, don't act like you don't play his music. And she responds, and it's like a back and forth. To me, just the premise to think of like, okay, this would be a good track. That is genius. To pull it off is a whole nother fucking genius.
So I think that's part cool. You're right. And I did like that part. I did like the content of the lyrics, but it's like over. Like I can't help. Like I cuss. I'm sure I think I cuss too much, right? But
I understand what you're saying.
But it was like it overpowered and like, especially look, something I know, and this is my own maturity, right? When I've been with my wife for 20 years, right? And when we were young, we didn't know how to talk to each other, so we were fucking mean to each other. We hurt each other's fucking feelings. Like I was trying to hurt her feelings. I was trying to fucking like dig at her heart, and so I cussed at her. I called her names. I know like I've like if I've ever done anything like really like I'm embarrassed about, like I've for sure like. If you can borderline call it, if not call it fully, like I've emotionally abused her in that way when we were younger, and like she had to see, like she saw me mature into somebody different that like would never talk to her like that. Like when we did, like we have disagreements just like anybody else, but like we're not mean to each other anymore. We don't hurt each other's feelings. And like, but here, let me just hear me out. And like that is prevalent in our culture. not as much. But, well, I do see it, right? It's prevalent in our culture. It's prevalent in black culture. And I'm not saying like all black people do it, but like, it's just like white people do it too. You know what? It's not so brown or black. That's not what I meant. What I meant is in hood culture, whether you're black,
it's very
brown,
relatable.
white.
That song is
like,
relatable.
because I've seen Asians do it too, right? Like when they fucking yell and they cuss each other, their wife out.
Yeah, but
any
Kendrick's
culture
not an
that's
Asian
just,
rapper,
right? But well, I guess what I'm saying is like I want to see us, all of us, do well, do better,
right,
do better for our families.
But no one's gonna listen.
And I just, fuck, man, like that's just that part. Like I just like I don't agree with like he's like normalizing that. So many people look up to Kendrick.
No. You didn't listen to the whole track.
I understand, but it's just like
here's what Tupac.
I just don't see it.
When Tupac went to his dad, which was Mutulu Shakur. And which Mutulu Shakur, within his own right, was a great Black Panther. He's doing life for supposedly robbing a bank because the FBI set him up. Anyways, but when Mutulu Shakur met with Tupac, this is before he signed up to death row. Tupac and his dad had a conversation, and he said, "How do I reach the youth?" And his dad told him, "The only way you reach them is by being with them in their circle." That's where thug life came from, because Tupac was not a gangster. But Tupac understood that he needed to get on that thug life level in order to reach the people he was trying to reach.
That's
so listen, no. Hear me out.
Bullshit.
No one's gonna listen to a rap song about your about 20 years later you've matured. No one's gonna listen to that. No kids are going to listen to that. So the way you connect to them is by giving them something relatable. And then in the end of the song, showing how, well, we all know at the end of those fights, the disrespect you give each other and the stupid shit you say is all for nothing. It's all fucking redundant, because at the end of the song, what happens in the chorus that makes you uncomfortable, which I would argue that anything that makes a point makes you uncomfortable. George Carlin's comedy makes people uncomfortable. But the chorus of this song that makes you uncomfortable, and I get it. I can't play it in my living room around my kids, but it's because she's saying fuck you and fuck you and fuck you. But at the end, when at the end what happens? She says they change the tone, and that's what's genius about it. They change the tone, and it's not fuck you, and she's like fuck me, and he's like I'm gonna fuck you, girl. And they end up making love and they make up, and that's the point of the song.
That sounds like a fucking toxic relationship. But I get it. I'm not like, I understand that part. I just think like as a leader, it's like it's our job to like to do better, to show people better, even if it's a little uncomfortable.
So
like,
you wanted Kendrick to rap? What did you want
with the muck just to appeal to?
How else do you pull him out of the muck if you don't go into the muck to lead them out?
Like show them a different way.
Right. So how do you show them if it's not? You got to get in front of them to lead them out. They got to follow you. Kendrick is not telling people that toxic relationships are cool. That's not what he's saying. Because even at there's
plenty of examples of people like successfully doing this, like Jay-Z.
What song did Jay-Z have where he's arguing with his girl and shows that he has a successful relationship?
I'm not saying like, oh, like here's a 10 points on how to have a successful relationship. I just think that the way that he lives his songs, like there's not like this like aggressive tone towards women, towards like.
You think that song was aggressive?
Kendrick's not doing it either. I don't like the chorus, and that's cool. We respectfully disagree. So. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm analyzing.
Respectfully disagree. Okay.
Yeah.
So. I do want to talk about something. I'm kind of excited about this. Okay. So, January 6th, for all you Trumpies who are just lost in Trumplandia, I get it. This is the time that you may want to skip ahead. It's going to take me about 15 minutes, and because I'm going to catch you up on January 6th and like everything that we know right now. So the January 6th hearings are going on, right? You may not be paying attention, but I'm going to catch you up just a little bit, right? And this is going to be a real quick like summary of everything that's happened, more or less, right? I may skip some parts, right? So we know that going into last election, Trump was talking shit. He saw the polling, he saw some of the early votes, and he was nervous, and so he was saying people are voting illegally. He was saying it before the actual election. He was already warning people, hey, this is happening. He was softening the field a little bit, right? So the day of the election, Fox News calls Arizona for Biden, which was kind of like the nail in the coffin. And that was a big deal. That guy ended up getting fired by Fox News, by the way. And then the recount of Arizona turned out to be actually accurate, and there was not really anything. So he got fired for nothing, right? But anyways, that's Fox News to prove that like they don't give a fuck about reality.
I was watching that great guy on MSNBC who's, I forget his name, who does all the calculations for you and everything. Anyways,
so anyways, the night of the election, Trump calls that he won. He says, as a matter of fact, I did win. And the crowd goes wild. He didn't concede that night. Everybody was like, dude, you lost the fucking election. It's the first time ever that a president's not conceded. Except for like, the Bush thing, right, with Al Gore, but that was like valid, right? So, but either way, says I won. Okay. Look. And I'll go back to that, right? So then it starts, right? And then he starts saying it was, Democrats had dead people vote, right? He goes down that conspiracy. Then he starts saying, California and these like brown states, Arizona let illegal immigrants vote. Right. And he's got all this stuff, and he's telling people, and he's got all these affidavits, and I saw this and I saw that. One of the things that they saw was like bags being delivered full of votes, right, that weren't in a container that's like an official container, but there was a reason for those, right? That we looked that up, right?
He even had his counters in there. Remember his people watching?
That comes after, but he was saying, the Chinese, the Chinese influenced election, they did this, right? Then he talked about Dominion voting machines that the Venezuelan and Fidel Castro, who's dead, by the way, with the Venezuelan fucking president
Chavez.
said, yes, right? And then he was talking about voting by mail and how that's inherently fraudulent, right? And he's fucking, laying all these cases, right? And then you got Giuliani and his lawyers going on and doing all these press conferences saying, this happened and this happened and this happened, right? So here's the thing that has to happen, though. He's got to go to court. Right. So then he's got these lawyers, and they're challenging these things in court. And see, the difference between saying it in public and going in court is that you got to present facts in court, right? So he goes to court. You know how many cases he went to? 62 across the country, 62 cases. He lost all of them except for one in Pennsylvania. One. And it was a technical error. It turned out to be a technical error, and it was just a handful of votes that had no effect on the election. It wasn't fraud. It was just a handful of votes, right? So then, right, he loses all these fucking battles, right? That was the big thing that he was going to do. He's going to prove it in court. He lost every single one except for one, right? So then Trump starts enlisting Republican state legislatures, right? So every state, so he picked 13 of the most contentious states, and he went to all those Republican legislators and said, we're going to reverse this fucking election, right? And so, Trump said him and his lawyers devised this crazy scheme so the way it works, right, is like, let's say your state, voted more for Biden. Like Arizona is a perfect example, right? You had, I think it was like 15,000 more votes for Biden than you had for Trump, right? It wasn't a lot. That famous phone call, it was 11,000 votes in Georgia, right? So it's a small amount. So because you won the state, you get all of the electors of that state. That's the way the Electoral College works. So Trump, but that has to be certified by the state legislatures in each state. And so Trump's going to them and saying, don't certify this result, right? It's fake, even though he lost all these elections, right? So he's working with them, and that's kind of not working, right? So he's saying, okay, so that kind of doesn't work, right? Because the states still certify this. But then the states assign. So the way that you get the vote to the White House is you have these electors, and every state has a certain amount of electors. And so, you've seen it, right? You get the 271, I think it is, to win the presidency, right? But those are actual human beings that represent the vote for that state and go to Congress, the White House, or Congress, the U.S. Congress, right? And show up and say, California, we got, 31, 61, whatever it is. And then that's how they cast their vote, right?
Certify it.
The certify. And that's when the vice president does it, right? So Trump's like, okay, we're going to create these fake electors. And he's telling all of those guys, it's because we're going to win these court cases. It's kind of happening at the same time, but he ends up losing them all, right? But the electors are still working. And this is when it becomes illegal. When the electors are still convening, even though they lost all the court battles and there's no evidence that there was a fucking fraud, right? So, he still does the fake electors, right? And this is around the time where he's even talking about like using the military to seize the voting machines, right? And that's like a big thing. And, you know, like we've never done that, right? And Trump keeps like pushing the lies during this time. This is after the election, before the big vote, right? So Trump, this is around the time where Trump is also calling the state, every state's
attorney generals.
The attorney not the attorney general, is the person that's in charge of the actual vote, right? Like responsible for administering the vote. I forgot what that person's called, but either way, calls him, and then he has this famous call with a Georgia guy, and Georgia was off by 11,491 votes, right? And Trump says, all I need is 11,492. Yeah. I just need one more. He said, it's okay if you go back and you say it was wrong. Just do it. Got him on video. I mean, on audio saying this, right? So we got this proof that he was doing this, right?
He did what again?
So Trump calls the voting leader, right, of Georgia, and basically says, or it might have been the governor, but says, I need you to find 11,492, one more than I need votes. I don't care how you find them, but I need you to find them, remove them, so that you can call Georgia for me. That doesn't work. He does this with almost every governor, and it doesn't work. None of this shit's working.
They're all scared shitless.
They're all scared shitless. But the truth is, like, these fucking guys are patriots. Like, they're like, no, this is wrong. Like, even and by the way, this is all Republicans.
I'm going to tell you something. We're very, very lucky that none of these guys decided, like, fuck democracy.
Right. You know, and then, you know, Bill Barr is our attorney general. That's like the top law enforcement official in the United States, right? And so Trump, at the same time that all this is happening, he's going to Bill Barr and telling Bill Barr, guy, listen, I need you to investigate. And Bill Barr does. He investigated this shit deep. He talked to the FBI. He had people working on this. And still, Bill Barr didn't find anything. Mm-hmm. And he tells him, there's this famous quote where he tells him, Mr. President, this is bullshit. Trump fires his ass. Mm-hmm. Trump is about to assign a guy that is willing to go all the way and say it was a lie and do the whole thing. But all of the other attorney generals, the juniors, they all said, if you do that, we all quit. We all walk out. And so he didn't assign him, and he assigned an actual good one who held the line and said, we are not fucking moving.
Yeah, that was the same guy. Wasn't it the same guy that got involved with the investigation the first time around that Trump was investigated? He was one of the guys that was there, right?
Yep.
Rosenthal,
Rosenthal,
something like that.
Sorry, that.
But here's the kicker: is that I've been following this, you know, and dude, they've had Ivanka, you know, they've had
everybody on there, Republicans.
And Ivanka,
these are all his supporters. Even the girl that went on there, we'll talk about her in a second, but these are all his people.
Yeah, it was his. They had Melania's press secretary come on, and she was like, his temper is sharp, and she said it's sharp, and it's not ruthless, it's cruel. She said his temper is sharp and cruel. And then they asked Ivanka, like, they said, did you know he had lost the election? She says, yes. To hear your daughter, like, he can't go on Truth Social, which is his Twitter, and say, oh, she's a fucking liar. Right. This is his daughter.
Yeah.
And there's something about, even when he was president, man, there's something about going after his kids that must bother
always
him.
Hurt him. Yeah. He was really sensitive about it.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
I crushed him a little bit, you know? And so that, you know, that doesn't work, right? He goes there. That doesn't work. So then last ditch effort is, I'm going to go to Pence, who is the guy who, like, waves the gavel and certifies the election, mm-hmm. right? For all these electoral college people.
At the Capitol.
At the Capitol, right? And that's happening on January 6th. So he's talking to Pence. Leading up to January 6th, he's talking to him, right?
He's giving speeches.
Right, giving speeches, talking about him, right? And saying, like, dude, he's bullying Pence into doing this, right? And then at the same time, Trump is calling his Republican allies in the U.S. Congress and saying, if Pence rejects it and sends it back to the states, then you guys have the power to name the president. That was the whole plan.
And there was people that were going to go along with it.
That were willing to go along with it. And actually, Pence actually thought about it. He really thought about it. But when he had his lawyers look into it, he found it was illegal. He couldn't do it. Right. And then so Pence tells him, no, not going to happen. Trump says, you're a fucking, he calls him exactly. Right. So then January 6th comes along. Right. Trump wakes up and he's talking to, first call is to his war room. He had a war room with Steve Bannon and a bunch of people at this like Washington hotel. Right.
Bunch of fucking like the evil
the evil fucking empire. Just like right there, like
the Legion of Doom.
And then at 9:00 he calls Pence, tries to get him over the line because the vote's happening that afternoon, like at 3-ish, 4-ish, something like that, right? Calls Pence, tries to get him over the line, right?
That was
at 9:02. At 11:02, he calls Pence back, and that's when he calls him a pussy because Pence says, "I don't care, I'm not going to do it."
Imagine being a fly on the wall.
Right. Hearing that happen, the president calling his vice, and that's when like it was over. Trump at that point knew like
this is the most powerful man in the world trying to not to like grab onto power and not let it go.
So then an hour later is the Stop the Steal rally that he's been hyping. Steve Bannon said there's gonna be hell to pay. People are like the speeches are fiery as shit.
I remember watching the speech and they were the speeches were legit about the people at the Capitol want to steal the country away from you. You guys patriots will not let this happen. And now, I don't want to fast forward your timeline, but dude, now we're finding out. I didn't know that a lot of these guys were strapped with AR-15s.
Yes, that's the next part, right? Is that so? Trump says something to the effect of he says, "I said something is wrong here. Something is really wrong. Can't have happened, and we fight." We fight like hell, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Firing them up. Fucking, this is the president of the United States telling his people, and yes, right before the thing, they're telling him, the MagSafe, the metal detectors, the Secret Service is going up to him and saying, tons of people can't get in because they're coming in with batons, knives, guns, all this shit. And he says, let them in. They're not here to hurt me.
That's crazy.
That's what he said.
That is fucking wild. That means that the president of the United States is accepting that there are people that are going to get hurt.
Who were they here to hurt?
It's just not me.
Right.
And you have to suppose it's the opposition. So that means that any Democrat that was out there that day was liable. He was willing to let them get hurt. Let's say, okay, give him benefit of the doubt. Let's say he doesn't even mean the senators or Congress people or anybody at the Capitol. He was just willing to let anybody who was opposing him let's say in the rally, get hurt.
Yeah.
That is fucking bananas. Insane
for a president to do that, And then after the rally, he gets in the. Now he doesn't get in the limo.
Beast. He gets in the beast.
Doesn't get. That's what I thought too. He didn't get into the beast. Because they were saying like. There was like conspiracies around like, oh well, it's not true because like the Trumpies are like, oh, it wasn't true. How could he do it in the Beast? It's so long and blah blah blah. It wasn't in the Beast. He was in the SUV, right? And so he reached over to the fucking steering wheel and is telling them, take me there. He wanted to fucking lead them in.
Yeah, the Hutchinson, the girl who is she's the one that represents. Like when they're trying to get laws passed, she's going to the Capitol to represent, to meet Republicans and shit. This is what he does.
And she's a loyal Trumper, like
loyal. She says that she was in the car and that Trump first says, I'm the fucking president of the United States.
Take me to the rally.
And then that Mark Meadows was such a pussy that he wasn't willing to tell the president it's not a good idea, that he told him it's on the table. And then that Mark Meadows went to the head of Secret Service and told him, you have to tell the president that he can't go. So the Secret Service guy tells the president fucking lunges at him.
Chokes him.
and says
he chokes him. He chokes him.
That's fucking wild. Now listen, guys.
Speculative here.
No. I feel that we're able to discuss this, and our friends who are Trumpies, because I do have Trumpy friends too. Shout out Rudy, you fucking fucker. But it's easy to talk about this because it didn't happen. It didn't go bad, but the potential was right there. It was right there. Like, can you imagine what would have happened? The potential of fucking I don't want to say civil war, but war, like fighting for sure.
I mean, it kind of happened, but yes, it could have been worse. So then, Trump tells him, go to the Capitol. He directs him to the Capitol.
Imagine a shootout at the Capitol with the AR-15s and the cops.
1 p.m. Trump ends his speech. And at that time, they're just getting there too, right? So then, 1:20, the rest of the crowd gets to the Capitol building, right? Now the whole crowd, right, is there. And this is around already like 1:20, right? And it's funny because
what time did Kenny get there?
Who?
Kenny.
Oh, the president keeps logs of every phone call, every conversation, everything he's doing. The logs go dark between 2 and 7 p.m. When you look at the log, everything that happened up to that day is logged, except for the time between 2 and 7 p.m. And that's when all the shit went down.
He was ready to let Pence die, bro.
He tweets at 2:24. Pence didn't have the courage to do what he should have done to protect our country. That's when the hang Mike Pence things happen, right? He is in the muck of it, tweeting these things to fucking rally these motherfuckers up. So Kevin McCarthy, who is the
he used to be Speaker,
U.S. House Representative Speaker, calls Trump and says, "Call them off." And Trump says something to the effect of, and I'm paraphrasing here, they're more concerned for our country than you. Maybe they have it right.
Fuck.
4:17, Trump records a video that is calling them off, right? 6:07, and they're still there after that. 6:07, the National Guard is deployed. Doesn't arrive, is deployed. What happened? Why didn't they deploy till 6 p.m.? 6:07. 8:06, Congress resumes, has the votes, and certifies Joe Biden as the next president of the United States.
Do you think that Pence was more willing to go along with Trump's plan, and then maybe seeing Trump's irresponsibility of what he was willing to do, maybe push Pence a little back off of the ledge?
Listen.
You think he's a patriot?
You can call me a idealist or whatever, right? But I genuinely believe that Republican or Democrat, there are fucking patriots in this country that care more about the Constitution and about this beautiful experiment we call democracy more than a fucking man or some bullshit. And I feel like in some ways, some of the Republican Party has lost their way on that. But I still think that there is this whole thing has shown some real patriots in the Republican Party who rose to the occasion. This is beautiful. This is a very historic moment in our time that will be talked about for a long time, like a test of our democracy. And
yeah, but these are the same fucking people that only had to save the democracy because they were willing to fucking risk it in order to get what they wanted. So fuck them. That's how I feel about it. You wanted you were in a fucking building with people outside and you were afraid, but you created that fucking monster. You did that shit.
Did, yeah. It's true. To your point, the Georgia Secretary of State, they asked him, the guy that got pressured for the 11,000 votes, they asked him, this is the crazy part, if he ran again in 2024, would you vote for him? And he said he may vote for him.
Wow.
Again, and he rose to the occasion, but he says, if it's legit, I'll probably vote for him, which is fucking bananas, right? This is how lost the Republican Party is, right?
I'm looking forward to the next election just to see how bananas it's gonna fucking get.
Yeah, you know, like, look, whether you're like Republican or Democrat, it's kind of like must see TV. And I know like even Fox isn't playing it, and it's kind of weird, but it's just like must see TV at this point. Like, I feel, you know, in my estimation, and many people have said it before at different times, but I really feel like it's over for Trump. Like, there's no recovery from this.
I don't know.
I'm calling it right now. Look, I think Joe Biden is a terrible president.
I don't know about all that either.
I am woefully disappointed in him on so many fucking levels, and I've my family voted, like, I advocated for him, because the truth is I don't regret that vote.
He's the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, and that's like the epitome of that, right? Because listen, as a country, we can survive a bad president. Like, we'll survive Joe Biden, right? I hope he doesn't rerun. I hope we challenge him, because, man, fuck, I'm so disappointed, right? And I don't want another 4 years of this fucking, dumbass. But with that said, we'll survive that. We can't survive somebody threatening democracy, right?
Once it's over, it's over.
Yeah, like, guys, like, you can't pull this off. It doesn't matter how much you want to win, right? Like,
we've seen other countries betray their democracy and then just never come back from it. Like, that's just what it is.
So, anyways, we're over with Trumpy World. I would encourage you to tune in. It's kind of must-watch TV at this point.
It's great.
It's fucking, honestly, like, kind of fascinating to watch. Even if you, like, just catch up on some summary shit, right? Like, after the fact, after what's going on next, just to keep up, because it's kind of fucking crazy.
And this is gonna be kind of funny question, but like Hutchinson, you saw her.
Bless her heart.
She's so pretty.
She's so pretty.
How are you that pretty and that smart?
And so smart.
How?
Where do these people live?
Yeah. Like,
who makes these people?
She's perfect.
I'll leave my family.
She's beautiful, and she gets laws passed. Like,
what a badass. What a badass.
I'll stay home and cook and clean.
Yeah.
I'll
be the boy.
I'll fucking wear orange
I'm
board
not
shorts
very much of a toy, good looking, or have anything that's like semi-attractive.
She can be racist towards me. It's all good.
Yeah, and she even has a better job. I'm just like, there's nothing for me. I don't have anything. But anyways, listen, that's all we got. Here's what I really am kind of stoked about talking about, because I know that, like, I'm not really good at sports, and neither is JJ. And then, like, we put this stupid sports thing on the logo, which is fucking hilarious, because we're not really good at that. But, like, I love sports. Fuck you guys that hate on my sports game. But I'm a loyal fan. I fucking love my teams. But I'm sorry, guys. Like, I don't have a fucking time to watch sports like the way you guys do.
We love sports so much. We went and got Drem.
I'm gonna tell you something. I legit probably go to more games than all you motherfuckers. So fuck you guys. I fucking love sports, but I just don't know. I like Drem, and I feel stupid every time he talks.
Me and Raul have gone to Dodger games, and we're fucking sitting there talking to each other for like most of the fucking game.
What are they doing? What are they doing over there?
You guys ain't that dumb. Come on.
Yeah, I know. That's subjective.
Yeah.
All right. So, look, there's so much going on, right? Like, where do you want to start? Like, give us, like, what's going on top to bottom. You want to start with basketball? Golden State, baby. I'm glad we kept it in California. Yeah.
And let's say we actually stopped the Boston Celtics from getting championship number 18. Oh. Right? That's a big thing for all us Laker fans out here. We did not want to see that. But you have to give it up to the Golden State Warriors, their fourth championship in 8 years. For them to be able to run it back. Klay Thompson coming back after missing 2 years, with the torn ACL and Achilles. So,
how much did this mean to Steph, this one? It meant a lot to him, right? Because they thought that this was, after the last championship, Klay was out and everything, like this was going to be it, right?
Well, yeah, for Steph, obviously it's a big thing for his legacy, right? We all could probably agree that he is the greatest shooter ever. Now the talk is, where does he rank among the greats, right? Is he a top 10 player of all time, top 5, top 15? That's a debate. We can go on forever. It's a very good one.
So how many ships does he have compared to LeBron right now?
They both have 4. But the difference is Steph did that playing in 6 NBA finals. So he's 4-2. LeBron, on the other hand, he's 4-6.
Oh, wow.
So you're talking about, he did play in 10 NBA finals, which is pretty amazing, right?
And then Steph's only played on...
You're saying 4 wins versus 2 losses for
For Steph.
For Steph. And then LeBron, 4 wins and how many losses?
6.
Son of a biscuit.
I think LeBron goes down as the...
And where was Jordan in that?
6-0.
Fuck.
Damn, I tell you, he's a GOAT, baby.
Damn. MJ was... That's really, truly amazing. Like, when we see the numbers now with LeBron and, like, I think LeBron goes down as the greatest career, maybe, right? But not the greatest player.
I mean, not the greatest player, but maybe the most skilled player of all time. You could argue that.
Yeah.
But
because LeBron's not built like any other player we've seen it.
Never. Not to do the skill set. But the one thing that separates Jordan from LeBron is that mentality.
Yeah.
It's that killer instinct that Jordan brought to the game that Kobe had.
Right. I was just going to say.
You know what's funny is that you touched on this shit earlier where, you know, you said that because you had to go to work and that he was like, oh, I got to fucking talk to people because you can't. That whole mentality, man, like, I feel like that's what's missing a lot today. It's like everybody's a fucking weenie, dude. Like, that mentality, that Kobe mom mentality, like, even LeBron has been compared to that, right? Like, he's really nice to his fucking players. He tries to be a friend. MJ was like, get the fuck off the court.
That's why he lost 6 fucking championships.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's it right there. You want to nail it on something? That's it. He's a pussy.
Yeah, but the reason he's gone to that many finals is because of that skill set.
Mm-hmm, right? He's a freak of nature.
If he just had that fire, he would have won way more. But he doesn't got it. He'd rather be liked than to fucking win, and that's the right. And Steph has the fire. He's a shit talker, just beast of a man.
Well, you know what's funny about Steph is that, and Drem, you'll know more about this, but I think that he's grown into that. Because there's that story of like how when KD left, it caught Steph off guard, and that Steph really opened up to KD, and like he did a lot to bring him here. And when Steph heard about KD leaving, he was on a plane coming from Japan, and he rerouted the plane to New York because of the KD story. So I think that Steph, I think he thought KD was going to be with him until they couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I mean, I think Steph wanted KD there, right? They went to the Hamptons. They went to go recruit him to make sure he was a Warrior, right? And for him to leave and to go team up with Kyrie, right? Because that's what KD chose, Kyrie over Steph.
Damn.
You know, we see where that led to, right? We know that decision was not the right decision.
Drem, so give us is it possible, once and for all, is it possible for the Lakers to get Kyrie?
Well, obviously, we know that he opted into his contract with the Brooklyn Nets, so he's going to make his $37 million.
Which you told me was going to happen because you texted me. He's not going to take $6 million.
He's not taking $6 million. There's absolutely no way. Who would leave $31 million on the table?
He left 15 on the table when he didn't play he
didn't play, yeah, but you're not going to do that 2 years in a row, right? You do it for 1 year, I could see that, but not 2 years in a row. Unless, obviously, the Lakers would have made him a promise, something it could have maybe happened, but you can't really do anything like that, right?
$30 million fucking promise.
Yeah, right? Something. I mean, who knows? Maybe LeBron says, here's some money, here's Clutch Sports shooting. You never know. But
damn, is that possible? Is that legal?
Definitely it's not legal.
Right.
You know it's not legal.
Yeah.
But with the Kyrie situation, it will take a miracle for him to be a Laker. But there is a chance that it could happen. There's reports out there by some of the guys that know what's really going on out there that are reporting there's still opportunity.
How does that work, Drem? Do we have to give him $30 million? We have to trade $30 million worth in cap space to the Nets in order to afford him?
Yeah, so the money has to match up. So
they're not going to take Westbrook.
So Westbrook makes $11 million more than him. So that's a huge... So the Nets would have to throw in another player, and the Lakers would have to give back just their 2 first-round draft picks that they have. Because the Lakers have no draft capital. They've been trading them away all these last few years, right? That's how they got AD. You know, they traded to New Orleans, just picked with the 8th pick the other day. That would have been the Lakers pick, but New Orleans ended up having it. So the Lakers don't have a lot of draft capital, don't have a lot of players that they could move. So the Lakers are really banking that if they do keep Russ, that he plays a lot better than he did last year.
How does that happen, Drem? We were just talking about that before we got on the show, but I don't understand how you play from 8 years old to middle school to high school to college, and then, you know, 1 year you come on and you're losing the ball on the dribble, you're missing the whole hoop. Like, is this like when pitchers just lose the pitch and then that's it? They're done. They can't pitch anymore. Like,
they get the yips, right?
Yeah, they get the yips. Is that what's going on with Russell?
I think that could be part of it, but I also think the fact that Russ's game doesn't transition as you get older, especially being as fast as he's up and down the court. So that's putting a lot together, right? With your mind, your body, everything being in sync, right? Always, constantly. And we know that Father Time is undefeated. Nobody stays great and plays at that elite level forever. And to me, the biggest thing with Russ, he's never adapted. We've seen all the greats adapt when they get older. We've seen it from Michael Jordan, right? He adapted. He would go to the rim, dunk on people. Then I can't do that anymore. I'm going to learn how to knock this fadeaway down. My mid-range game is going to dominate, right? Kobe did the same thing. We've seen LeBron do the same thing as he's gotten older, right? He's not going to the rim as forcefully anymore, but Russ still thinks he could do that. And he tries to do that and he can't. That skill set's gone.
It makes me sad, man. Like, it makes me sad on a level of like a human level. Like, damn, I'm sad that guy is on a professional stage and is that's gotta hurt him. It's gotta be
making
embarrassing.
$47 million. That is ridiculous.
So then, is it a possibility Russell gets traded to a third team and then that third team takes on the cap?
So that's the big way they could do it, right? And teams would take on Russell's contract just because it's an expiring contract. So that $47 million obviously will come off the books next year.
But like you were mentioning when we were having lunch, people don't like the Lakers. Other teams don't want to see the Lakers win, obviously. So then that hurts us as well. So let's say if you had to give me a percentage on the possibility of Kyrie coming over to the Lakers, considering maybe the LeBron relationship, but everything that you know, what would you give us on a percentage?
On today, June 29th, I'm going to say it's probably about a 10% chance right now. No, I think it's very low. Just because he opted into that contract. And like I said, I think the Nets could get a way better offer than Russell Westbrook and a couple first-round draft picks for Kyrie Irving. But there was a rumor going on that no teams were engaging with the Nets over a sign-and trade besides the Lakers. But that was before he officially opted in. There hasn't been any noise that I've seen or read or anything since then.
What do you think about Max Christie, the guy that the Lakers just picked up, I think from Michigan or something like that? Yeah, from Michigan.
Michigan State.
Yeah,
Michigan State, yeah.
Was he on the draft? Was he for the draft?
He just got picked up.
Yeah, so the Lakers
did have a draft pick, but just a late one or what?
Yeah, so the Lakers traded back into the second round. And they picked them up with the 35th pick.
Yeah, 35th. And they and nobody expected the Lakers to go up that high.
Yeah.
They were expecting them to, come trade lower, but they came all the way up.
So who is he?
So, I mean, I'm going to be honest. College basketball is not my forte. I don't follow it as much. But from the looks of it, he went to Michigan State, obviously a good school, played under a good coach there. Draymond even came out and made a tweet about him. Oh, here goes another second round pick out of Michigan State. Maybe we got another NBA champion on their hands because that's Draymond. Draymond.
He's 30%. He's 30% from the field, and they said that he's not like a put into the lineup. He's small, so they were like, I was hearing on ESPN, they're like 2 years. He'll be bigger, he'll be bulkier, he'll understand what it's like to play in the NBA, because they were like, when you're a kid in the college, they're like, you have to understand what it's like to come play with men in the NBA. He's like, there are fucking men throwing you around.
So how did we get Shaq's kid? Because we got Shaq's kid and Pippen's kid?
Yeah. So the way they signed both of them, obviously, they both entered the NBA draft and both went undrafted. And then once they go undrafted, they're able to sign with any team. And they both, chose the Lakers. So they'll both be part of the Summer League team playing in Vegas, but doesn't guarantee them a roster spot, right? They still have to earn it. These guys are not part of the guaranteed 15-man roster that's going to be around come training camp time.
Is that shocking to you that because Gary Payton's kid's so fucking good? Is it weird that these kids, Shareef O'Neal and Scottie Pippen Jr. didn't get drafted?
I don't think so, because Gary Payton Jr. himself has been around the league. He was the Laker for a little bit, and they let him go. They didn't keep him. This is his second stint with the Warriors. So, he's been around the league too. So it's not a surprise.
You were telling me about Shaq.
So the story with Shareef O'Neal, right? He came in.
Wait. Who's Shareef in like the hierarchy of Shaq kids? Is he the firstborn?
Yeah, he's the oldest son. So he first committed to UCLA, then ended up transferring to LSU because he got sick. He had
the heart problem
he had. I don't know exactly what happened, but he ended up going to LSU. He had 1 more year left of eligibility. So Shaq was pretty upset that he entered the draft. Shaq told him he should go back for 1 more year. And if you look at it, Shaq was right. He didn't get drafted. He signs with the Lakers and he's on a prove himself deal with them, but still to not get drafted or get overlooked by these teams twice,
I think that maybe the injury has something to do with it. Maybe maybe he's worried about being halfway through another college season and having problems, and then at that point it's like, now I'm undraftable, even going undrafted, because people are going to be worried about my injury flaring up. Because I think he had a heart murmur, or like something that his heartbeat was off, and that they were worried about him, excessive exercise and all this activity might add into it. But I think even Shaq said that they were doing all kinds of like medicines and even like meditating and all kinds of shit to get him to the right place. But he's Shaq's kid. So and then Scottie Pippen too. I thought, because I had saw that they said that Scottie Pippen was very involved in his son going to meet with a lot of these teams. And I even thought about that because I watched like Last Dance, and I've seen a couple YouTube videos on like Scottie Pippen. And that guy's like when he had a horrible fucking deal when he first came around, like the fuck. And maybe that works to his benefit. Maybe he's like, well, this never happened to my son. But I also thought, what if this guy's one of those parents who is like overbearing because he's so fucking worried about what's gonna, like, oh, my son can't get into this fucking deal, where it's just overbearing, just a little bit too much. Scottie Pippen seems like he always says a bunch of dumbass shit too, like that he's better than MJ. And just all the fucking stupid shit he said in his book is, that's why I was like worried. I was like, damn, I hope he doesn't fuck it up for his son.
Well, yeah, hopefully we don't have another LeVar Ball on our hands here, right?
It kind of seems that way with fucking Pippen, dude.
Yeah, we never know. But we'll see. Like I said, those guys have a small shot at making the roster. So the Lakers have a lot to do this offseason. They got to hope that a lot of players take cheap deals, because they don't have the cap room to sign anybody.
How about on the baseball side, man? What's going on?
So real quick, just on the NBA draft, who did get picked up like first round? Who are you watching out for on the NBA draft?
So the biggest slight in the draft was Jabari Smith. He was supposed to be the number 1 pick. Everybody was saying number 1 pick, number 1 pick, number 1 pick. He didn't. He ended up going 3rd, I believe.
Can you imagine the nerves, bro? Like when everybody's saying you're going number 1, and then number 1 comes by, and number 2 comes by, and then you're like, and number 2 comes by, you're like, holy fuck, dude. Like, what is going on? Yeah,
so the big surprise was the number 1 pick, Paolo Banchero. He from Duke. He went to Orlando with the number 1 pick. And none of these guys are rated like, let's say, when LeBron came out, or like Kevin Durant. None of them are expected to be that, but you never know, right? We've seen John Morant come out of nowhere, right? There's a bunch of young guys. So
John Morant's interesting too. He's been in the news because he's being a fucking idiot. He's, the whole trash talking with players happens, but John Morant's on Twitter like, we can get it cracking in the hood, and I stay with the bang bangs, and like he's fucking gang banging on Draymond Green.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And there are people on Twitter, like ex-NBA players, older NBA players, that are like, dude, you have money now. Like, you don't need to be hood anymore. You need to.
This is my problem right here. Just with like this right here. Like, same problem I have with like the Kendrick bullshit, right? But like this, like, we have to get the fuck out of doing stupid shit like this. So dumb.
I can't believe you compared that shit to the Kendrick. But anyways, it's not comparable. But I think that because Kendrick is came out fucking dressed like Jesus, trying to prove a point for women's rights. It's different than John Morant gangbanging on fucking Twitter. Like at least Kendrick can stand behind his shit. Fucking John Morant's over here gangbanging on Twitter. Like even if you're gonna be he's a what Fools Gone Wild called net bangers. Like
for sure, yep.
The fucking net banger. He's not even when he's on the court. Like, you're gonna fucking talk shit, then go up to Draymond Green and talk shit. But don't net bang. Don't fucking talk about. And then if you're gonna, the problem was like, we're talking about guns when you're in the fucking NBA, dog. Like, what are you doing?
But I mean, if we look back at some stuff that's happened, like Gilbert Arenas and stuff, guns are a big thing in the NBA. There's guns in that locker room like crazy.
Did you guys see Steven Jackson at the O? You guys know what the O is?
No.
The O Block is there was this rapper named King Von from Chicago, and Chicago is known for like gun violence. And there's a block called O Block where even it's like the Watts of Chicago. Like the cops won't go up in there. And Steven Jackson's in there. He's like, you see, I got all the smoke. I got the juice in the hood. And he's like all in the projects and shit. It's fucking wild, man. It's wild. But, there's that. There's so the Lakers, what we're looking at, Drem, the Lakers aren't. What do you think? What do you expect from them?
I mean, to be honest, we'd be lucky if I'm looking at a 5th or 6th seed. If they could get there. But that's with everything aligning. And obviously with AD, right? He's the biggest question mark of everything. Can he stay healthy? I mean, if he's healthy, we know what he does.
Just his build makes me worried. Like, he looks like a big fucking, like, injury-prone, lanking motherfucker, right? Doesn't he look like...
Yeah, and it's proven. That's what he's been.
He looks like he can get hurt getting out of his car. He's just too big. Too big.
This makes me sad. I think this Laker team is done. There's nothing we could do, guys.
Yeah, it's time to blow it up.
Time to blow it up. I think, there's so many teams that are just better. Like,
who do you trade first?
Grizzlies are fucking better than us.
You trade LeBron?
Trade them all. Fucking get rid of them, everybody. Blow the motherfucker up.
Blow it up.
Damn, Rob Pelinka. Trying to do it, Rob Pelinka. Where we at with the...
Start all over, baby.
Where we at with the Dodgers, Drem?
Oh, well, if... We all know this past weekend, it was a big weekend. Freddie Freeman's return to Atlanta. For everyone that knows, probably the biggest Braves fan here in Los Angeles. I know my brother Mark will fight me for that one, but, it was a big series in Atlanta. Like I said, Freddie's return, got his World Series ring on Friday. We're very emotional for him. He had an emotional press conference talking about how he missed Atlanta, loved it there. He did an interview out there talking about that he didn't want any closure. Because of his great 15 years he had there and his great 12 years in the majors.
You guys should see Drem's face right now. Man. He's so passionate about this.
Oh, my God. I'm sitting back letting him do it.
And for me, obviously it fucking hurt. I can't even tell you. Seeing him get his ring, wearing that ugly-ass Dodger uniform hurt my heart so much. But at the same time, I'm glad that the Atlanta fans showed him the respect he deserved and got up and did not boo him like there was talks on the internet going on that we're going to boo the shit out of him and all that out there in Atlanta. I'm glad they did not.
You guys are assholes if you would have done.
No, yeah, those assholes, few fans that were on Twitter talking about all this shit.
It was actually really classy what they did for him.
I have a lot of respect
for Atlanta for that. Like, that was really heartfelt.
15 fucking years, bro.
Yeah, and brought them their first World Series, right? He helped them win the World Series last year. He's a big reason why they did. And then, so the big story that came out of it all was after the series was over, Freddie Freeman goes out and he fires his agent. So that's a big story, right? Because
damn, that is crazy, huh?
Right after going, and the big story is after going.
Why did he fire him?
So the story is that the Braves made him an offer around the All-Star break. It was 5 years, $135 million, which comes out to about $27 million a year. He said no. He said, I don't want to deal with this anymore. We'll talk at the end of the year. So the Braves made another counter offer after that. And his agent went back to the Braves and told them, here's 2 counter offers. You have an hour to come back to us. So the Braves were not going to match either counter offer. So they didn't get back to him. They didn't hear from Freddie's representatives. Either way, the Braves didn't reach out. They didn't reach out to the Braves. So the next day, Alex Anthopoulos, the general manager for the Braves, went out and made a big trade for an up-and-coming stud named Matt Olson, a first baseman from the A's, to get him. So Freddie Freeman was completely in shock that they made this trade. So he knew that his time was over. But he really thought that just the Braves didn't match his offer. So he went on, signed with the Dodgers. They gave him a 6-year, $180 million, whatever. But
Did they give him more money, the Dodgers?
So they gave him 1 more year. That's the only difference. The annual is the same. It's $27 million per year.
So then my argument is what's the agent's job? To get you the most money.
Yeah, but it's also his fiduciary responsibility to tell him everything about the deal. That was a mistake.
That's
I understand
true.
that, the net is, but that was Freddie's decision to make, not the agent's.
If he didn't tell him about the counter offers.
Well, it sounds to me like he was up there in Atlanta chopping it up with his old friends, and they were like, dude, like, and they just came up like, well, you gave us an hour, and that whole thing happened, and he found out, and he was like, probably infuriated, and went and fired his ass.
You think the agent's probably like, I got my commission?
But like you're saying though, right? If your best interest is in your player, right? Your client is taking care of him signing the same amount of contract here in California means he's making less money than he would have.
No
with
shit.
That same
That's
contract
true.
in Georgia.
Taxes.
Huge. That's a big deal.
Yeah, we're assholes when it comes to taxes.
Yeah. So the agent's name is Casey Close.
Don't burn him out, Drem. God damn.
No, but
he's fuck Casey Close. This is his address.
But he's on the internet and everything, you know. So the big story is too that he knew that Freddie would have took that Atlanta deal.
Fucking Drem's like, you can find him at Casey Close, KACY.
So what was his? How did they find that out? And like, what was the motivation behind that? Like, why did he do that?
The agent?
He wanted him to come out to LA.
I mean, it's one more year, but Drem says, like he said,
imagine if we find out like the agent had like some kind of fucking side deal with the Dodgers.
Yeah, baseball's a grimy sport, though.
Yeah, you never know.
It's a grimy business. It's been grimy, right? Like even back in the day when you hear about the shit that they were doing in the 40s and shit in the 50s, like didn't they trade Babe Ruth for like a fucking opera tickets or some shit like that?
Yeah, they would trade for money, for a pack of cigarettes back then, probably all of that stuff.
That's fucking crazy.
Who knows what they did back then?
So that's that. Freddie Freeman. How are your Braves looking? How did we do? I didn't watch the games. How did we do, Dodgers?
So the Dodgers took 2 out of 3.
Nice.
But the biggest one was the Sunday's game.
Why was that one the biggest?
So Saturday's game, remember, Kenley's a Brave now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Kenley versus the Dodgers. He comes in Saturday, gets the save. The Braves tie the series 1-1. Then Sunday, going into the 9th inning, the Braves are up 2-0. Here comes Kenley Jansen. 1 strike away from ending the game. Gavin Lux gets a base hit. You know, they end up it's making a 1-run game. Chris Taylor comes up, gets another hit, ties the game up. They go to extra innings. It goes 3-3, and then the Dodgers end up winning in extra innings. But Kenley Jansen
choked again. What he does,
doing what Dodger fans were so used to, right? So they say, even though he's the all-time saves leader for the Dodgers, he's done so much for the Dodgers.
Yes, but I'm gonna tell you something. I was there last year, or I want to say maybe 2 years ago, and we went, and Kenley was closing out the game, and in his fashion, he fucked up. And the Dodgers fans were fucking ruthless, bro. Like just talking so much shit. And they, who I took with me to the game, it was actually Helmet. He's a big fucking Dodger fan. He stood up and he was like telling he's drunk. He's like, shut the fuck up. You guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about, But I mean, look.
But they would rather have Kenley Jansen instead of Craig Kimbrell right now.
Yeah.
I can tell you that much. Because that guy, oh my God.
Have you gone to any games this year?
I have not been to Dodger Stadium this year.
I haven't been in any games this year either. Last year I went to so many fucking games, and it's killing me because my Facebook memories is popping up and it's showing me all the games that I went to. And it's funny that we talk about in the beginning right now of your segment because it's funny we're talking about it outside. I'll go back to the segment thing, but Raul, I have a picture of my Facebook memories. It's me and Raul, and your sister came with me and my wife to the game, and Raul was like balls deep in his phone. Like I'm recording we're at the game. This was balls deep in his phone and shit. He's probably like working or some shit, like and fucking just ignoring the whole game. So it's like
talking to your mother.
But yeah, bro, like we don't fucking, but the segment thing is, everybody, if you guys enjoy fucking Drem's sports, him ranting on about sports, I tell him, let's pressure him. If you guys can fucking find him on Instagram, he's going to do the show. It's coming. Drem, what's up, man? We're going to get this show soon.
Yeah, we got to get it cracking. You're going to be the producer.
I got you, man. Let's get Drem's Strands going.
I can't wait for that. And, but before we even talk about that, I want to know what's up with LAFC. We made some big deals, baby. Listen, because like right now, this whole time I've been kind of tuned out because Drem's talking about the stupid Braves, Fuck the Braves. But I want to know, what's going on with LAFC. We got some big deals, and I'm like too stupid to understand them. But like we got like 2 good players, so we're no longer like Chivas 2.0. We're like a real Vadio, eh?
Yeah, exactly. So big news in LAFC news, right? Is signing Chiellini from Juventus to come over here from Italy and getting Gareth Bale from Real Madrid.
That's crazy that the MLS, a team in the MLS is able to pull players like that.
But especially at his, Chiellini's a little bit older. He's 37 years old. So seeing him come makes a little bit more sense, as we've seen that, with other European players come over here at the end of their career. But to get Gareth Bale at the age of 32, yeah, it's only a 1-year deal for the next 12 months. But that's still a huge deal, because we know for the longest here in LA it's been the Galaxy, right? And they've been able to get all the big name players like David Beckham, Steven Gerrard, Zlatan, so they've been able to get those players. Now there's not a Chivas 2.0 here or Chivas USA here that nobody's gonna want to come play for. There's LAFC who have built something.
You guys got all the fucking cholos, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like all my homies who are like, there's one. I think they're called the LA Psychos.
The LAFC Psychos. That's one of the supporter groups.
They got the fucking
Psycho Realm.
Psycho Realm
is the logo. Yeah.
My homie's like, he's one of them, and he's fucking like, they go deep, and he even he's homies with Sick Jackin', and Sick Jackin' shows up. But I was like, okay, so all the guys that go to the Raider games, they all go to the LAFC games.
But, and you got to remember, it's in the hood. It's right there.
It's a fucking...
It's right next to the Coliseum, dog, where the Raiders played,
Raul just wants us to be better, dog. Raul just wants us to evolve.
Black and gold, I love those games. Like I love football more than anything in the world, but like that
stadium
LAFC
is amazing.
Game, or just soccer, like real, like, European soccer, man, there's just nothing like that. Like there's just nothing like that. That is a shit ton of fun. If you've never been to an LAFC game, you got to go.
And just so everybody knows, both star players are going to make their debut July 8th versus Carson. So, in LA, not in Carson, in Los Angeles, in South Central.
Versus Carson.
Yeah.
You fucking say that, right?
Isn't it Carson?
It's LA County.
No, but it's still the Carson Galaxy.
It's like the Angels, Like,
yeah, exactly like the Angels.
No.
Yes, of course it is.
The difference is the LA Galaxy was the original LA team. No.
Yes,
no way.
Yes, you are.
No way. We were the original LA team.
Lakers are in LA, downtown LA.
Do you know who owns
the Angels? They're labeled LA, but they're not LA.
You know the Lakers who own the people who own the AEG owns Galaxy.
Garson.
No, you're wrong.
They sell pupusas
LA Galaxy.
at your
absolutely,
stadium.
yeah, because we cater to who the fuck lives in LA.
Because you cater to people who live in Carson.
No, you're saying Samoans live in Carson. Relax. There's not a lot of Salvadorians living in Carson.
There's a Samoan restaurant in there too.
No, there's not. They serve pollo campero and pupusas. That's what they serve there.
In Samoa Campero.
No, they don't. You're an idiot. Ro's an idiot. Ro doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
What's Samoan food? I feel like I'm being insensitive to my Samoan friends.
I don't know.
What are they? Oh, like
you don't have any
Hawaiian
fucking
chicken.
Samoan friends.
Hawaiian
Samoan
chicken,
friends.
right? Oh no, Hawaii.
Oh no, Hawaii. Yeah.
There you go.
Hawaiian chicken is Samoan. Is that what you said right now?
Yeah.
Fucking insensitive guy. Listen to all of our what do you call that? Anyways, we're going way off. The Rock's gonna fuck you up.
What else is going on in sports?
So another big thing. I don't know if everybody. I mean, I know it's not the biggest sport that everybody watches, but golf. If anybody's paying attention to what's going on with golf and how the Saudis have made a big old dent and threw a wrench into the PGA's world, because so the difference with golfers is that they're independent employees. They don't work for the PGA. So when they go play in these tournaments, they're not even guaranteed to get paid, right?
Unless you do good.
It depends where you place. If you don't make the cut, you might not even get paid. So the Live Tour, they're gonna pay you just for playing.
Really?
Yeah. So and they're offering millions of dollars. So the Tiger Woods was offered $800 million to be part of this Live Tour, and he turned it down. He turned it down.
What?
Yeah, he turned it down.
$800 million?
And he turned it down.
How much fucking money do you have to turn down $800 million?
But it's either that or like, do you remember where that money's coming from. The Saudis. Are you okay with that blood money on your hands?
I mean, most of our politicians are.
Obviously, but we're talking about professional golfers here,
we're
right?
fucked up when sports players have a better moral compass than our politicians.
No, listen. Let me tell you something.
We're doomed. We're all doomed. Democrat, the takeaway today was that both Democrats and Republicans suck right now.
Yeah, they do.
We need a new party like in El Salvador. New ideas.
Or maybe we need the Lip Tour and the Saudis to come,
Son of a...
No.
I'll just get it.
The Saudis are killer reporters.
All get paid, and they're having their own tournaments. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, not their own tournament. They had the live
in Saudi Arabia,
and the guys, the golfers.
But there's no grass in Saudi Arabia.
No, listen. The golfers who participated with the live got kicked off of the PGA.
Yeah. So
what?
So they can't. But here's the crazy thing: is that they could still play in the major championships. Because every major, like the Masters, the British Open, the U.S. Open, it's its own entity. And they're not part of the PGA. But like PGA Tour events that are throughout the country, they cannot golf in them. They only go golf in live events.
What the freaking hell?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
It just happened.
So, but this has been, they've been talking about this. There's been talks about it,
Now, here's my hope.
Okay, where are they playing?
Here,
America?
Yeah, why? It's just Saudi money, Dick. It's not like
so like they have their own league. And what's the league called?
Live,
LIV.
Live.
Which is the Roman numeral, right, for 54.
And it's owned by the princes, like the family.
Yeah, it means 54, which means how many wives you can have. I'm just kidding. It means how much money. It means how much money.
Wives and you go to heaven.
No, it's how much money they donated to.
That's how the Mormons worked. The more wives you had, like you had to have 4 wives to go to heaven and enjoy like this special thing. And so,
having only one wife came as a Anglo-European Christian thing. Like the Native Americans had a fuckload. They had like 4
Bless
wives.
Their hearts. We got a cool story about the Native Americans next time, but yeah.
Yeah. No, but the LIV thing, the live, they got suspended, but you fucked up my joke. I was going to say 54 represents how much money they donated to the 9/11 terrorists. But yeah.
It's dark.
That's dark. Listen, it's pretty fucked up. The moral compass show is good, but that Tiger Woods is also got caught fucking like how many escorts and got beat up by his wife. And he still took money.
I'm just kidding. It's not cool.
He won't take money from the...
By the way, just real quick, just a sidebar. Angels suck, and I'm just like enjoying their
Oh my god!
Just general shittiness.
They fired the GM.
The GM.
They broke out into a fight.
Enjoying watching Angels
Shout out
baseball.
Caleb.
Yeah, Shohei Ohtani went 3 for 3 with a double, and Mike Trout hit 2 home runs, and they still lose.
Damn.
That's the Angels. Pretty much, that's how it sums it up for them.
I have no idea what that meant. I'm just kidding.
Listen, I have drifted off into space.
Yeah,
because I'm just dumb. Like I'm like, oh man, I don't know where to like start off. And
he lost me at Ohtani. I was like, what the fuck? Is that the Asian guy from on the cover MLB show?
He lost me at Golden State because.
Here's the thing I'll tell you about Golden State though. Did you guys watch when they won the championship? And then Curry, like, bless his heart, right? Like he's trying so hard to sound hard, but when he screams, he's got like a little bitch ass voice, So he's like a Mike Dean. Remember when Mike Dean was the campaign trail? And he's like,
so good.
That's what Steph Curry sounded like to me. He's all fucking, let him talk now. What the fuck is fucking Kermit the Frog screaming on the court? And then his wife and is it me or his wife and like his mom looked alike? I was like, who the fuck? Or no, his wife's mom look alike very much. So there was like when he won, his wife was like kissing him, and I'm like, oh, that must be his wife, And then the mother-in-law comes in, I'm like, wait a minute, who the fuck is the other lady? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this was macking down his, it was wild. It was good. It's funny. Hey, is Draymond Green leaving Golden State?
Nah.
Okay, because he
ain't going anywhere.
He comes on these fucking on podcasts and he talks about
podcasts. He's crazy.
But he talks about Golden State like he's not part of Golden State sometimes. Where I'm like, that's your team, bro. Like, why are you talking about them and they and like Golden State? Like, you're on the fucking team.
That's a good question.
You think KD will go back?
No.
No?
No, no way.
Draymond wants him back. I heard him on his podcast, and he said that he doesn't think Golden State would win another one without him.
Well, Dame's pushing to get him in Portland, so we'll see.
You think KD will win another one?
Not in Brooklyn.
Damn. You think Damian Lillard will get a ship, period, before he retires?
Oh, Dame? Not in Portland. Not without KD.
He just signed a deal, though, right? He can't come to the Lakers.
Nope. Ain't going anywhere.
Portland stinks, though. I went to
2 games because I was just up there, and like they stink. And the tickets were like $12.
I heard Portland's weird, like the town.
That's the thing. Like that's
it's odd.
It's gloomy. It's a perfect place for fat people that like you would like thrive there.
I'd love it there.
You would
they have
just,
weed.
It's like socially acceptable to be, overweight and just generally like it's like when you kind of gave up. It's like when people go when they give up. Like nothing besides Nike, like nothing's really.
I
great
legit have people
Portland.
tell me like I don't.
By the way, the president of my company lives in Portland, so he is one of the great things that's come out of Portland.
Is he fat?
Fudge, that sucks. Sorry, Chad, but yes, he's a little big. He's working.
We
on
love
it.
you, Chad.
We love you, Chad.
Listen, we love you, Chad.
And he is an absolute winner. I'm not even playing around. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I love this guy. I look up to this guy. I really do, and he's an absolute winner. But
he's a fucking boss of the company.
I did tell him you gotta move to Southern California. You deserve to win. You deserve to be out here with us.
Come down here, Chad.
Come down here, Chad.
Come join us.
Yeah.
Come into the winner's circle.
Mm-hmm.
You should see
He's married. He's married.
Well,
great
come
family.
See the women anyway.
Like he's legit. Like he's legit.
We were just at Portal.
He's got a lot of roots out there, so he's not moving.
He's not moving.
Nah, he's like a big deal. But listen, I went to a Portland State basketball game.
They recognized him.
Bro, he's a big deal. He was a fan of the game. I got there and they celebrated him in the whole game. Like it was a big freaking deal, bro.
What do you mean? Like they announced he was there?
Yeah, he was a fan of the game. They brought him in the middle of the court and like waved at the whole freaking crowd. Like it was a big deal, bro. Like he's a big deal. He's a big deal.
Were you like
because he's a big donor to the program and
when Raul,
he has season tickets and
when Raul tells me these stories, and then like I see him right now because it was hot today, and I see him with like he hasn't gotten a haircut, so his hair looks like naturally Mexican because he was born in Mexico. But when he tells me this shit, when he tells
so many secrets are being let out, don't say nothing.
When he tells me this shit, like that you're with your boss and that they're celebrating, I just imagine like, do you remember Drem? Do you remember Lone Ranger? And he was like, "Come, Tonto."
Listen, I was on the front. I was on the floor with him. Okay, we had 4 seats.
They're gonna celebrate me, Come, Tonto.
Oh shit! That's fucking cold blooded, bro.
Dad, listen, come down here, man. It's weird. Thank you for giving us the laughter that you just gave us. Thank you for carrying our little Mexican friend around.
I'm always the little brown guy with all the tall. And you know what's funny is like a lot of my white friends are like tall, so like I literally look like a little short little. You seen the picture?
You should do it. You should do what South Park does. You seen the episode with South Park where they're making fun of gender identity? Sorry to cut you off. They're making fun of gender identity, and then he goes, "If Bruce Jenner can identify as a girl and be Caitlyn, then one of the dads is like, I want to identify as a dolphin." So he goes and he gets surgery to get fins, and then one of the kids goes, "I want to identify as a tall person." So he goes and he has a shin. They extend his shins. He's like, "You can't call me short anymore. I identify as a tall person."
Oh, it's so good. Wow. Oh, I love the identity roles. Drem, what's NFL football going to look like next year?
Kaepernick in black and silver.
Okay, break it down. Tell me what's going on in the NFL, who's going to be good, who's going to suck, and most importantly, how badly are Raiders going to dominate.
Oh, my God.
And how terrible are the Cowboys going to do?
Drem's going to not be biased. He's going to be neutral.
Well, I just asked about Colin Kaepernick, right? We all know he tried out for the Raiders, worked out for them. And earlier you made a comment telling me about how come the Raiders are always going against the NFL, right? And It's because I guess Mark Davis, still has love for his pops, because he knows what the NFL did to his pops all those years. So I think that could be a part of it, but I really think, you look at their roster, they don't have any really good backups on their roster.
You lost Mariota.
Mariota left, but they did trade for Jarrett Stidham, who was the backup in New England, who knows Josh McDaniels, so that's why McDaniels brought him over. But, we'll see. I wouldn't sign Colin Kaepernick because you're talking about a guy who's been out of the league for 5 years now, I think it is.
I don't see him meshing with, Derek Carr and that whole fucking, it surprises me that you guys would even consider it after the Antonio Brown fucking debacle. God damn it. The Cowboys are known to do stupid shit like that. We signed felons and shit like that. But that Antonio Brown shit was bad, bro. That shit was fucking
I knew it too.
Bad.
I knew when they got Antonio Brown, I knew that was going to blow up in their face. And sure enough, it did. But when it comes to Colin Kaepernick, I don't think he's going to get a shot in the NFL. I think he brings too much baggage with him, so I don't think that's going to happen. I think that ship has sailed.
How far up does Devontae Adams take you guys?
I think the Devontae Adams is obviously going to help their offense, but for the Raiders, to me, that hasn't been their problem. It's been on the other side of the ball. It's been the defense. It's always been the defense.
Yeah, because you guys got Rose sent me something that I already fucking knew, but it does pierce my heart because at one point the Cowboys had Jason Witten, which was arguably one of the best tight ends. But now it's a new time and Darren Waller is fucking balling out and he's a badass tight end. So you're right, man. I think that's defense. You guys got
but they have Max Crosby, who they just signed to an extension, balled out last year. And they signed Chandler Jones. You sign him, add him to the mix. So that gives you arguably, you could argue the best pass rush.
You guys got that young safety.
Yeah, they got Trayvon Morig, they got Jonathan Abram. They got two pretty good young safeties. So we'll see. To me, that's the biggest question mark is on the defensive side of the ball for the Raiders, especially in that division.
Also, what are you guys going to do about coaching?
You have Josh McDaniels, who's his second time as a head coach, right? So we'll see how that pans out. Hopefully he learned from the mistakes he made in Denver because he wasn't too successful in Denver the first time. So
he was trying to figure out the people thing. The thing about leadership just in general, when you're learning a new job, right? When you learn a new job, you fuck up at the job. You suck at the job. Maybe you suck as a delivery driver. You suck as a recruiter. You suck as a cop. Whatever the fuck, right? But when you suck as a leader, man, the implications of that are so much bigger. You fuck up with people, and that's the part that he was trying to figure out. But that's why he went to go work under Belichick, and he worked under Belichick for years. I think he learned that. Sometimes you got to work under somebody else to really understand how to deal with people. And I think that's the part that he struggled with. He was always smart. He just couldn't get people to buy into what he was trying to do. I think he's grown from that.
Yeah.
I think
Belichick is a whole nother fucking level of Zen fucking, coaching. He's a beast. So I get it. If he can bring any of that to the Raiders organization, then you guys are looking good. I thought Chucky was going to be the answer for you guys. I thought because of the whole Tampa, and when he left and fucking came back, I thought, damn, I think the NFL did you guys dirty. I also thought that the Kaepernick shit, was a fuck you to the commissioner because of the whole nobody else's emails got leaked besides your guys' fucking emails, and I felt that was the NFL, fucking you guys over because Lord knows, and I'm a Cowboy fan. Lord knows what would happen if Jerry Jones's emails got leaked. Jesus Christ, I don't want that guy's emails getting leaked. He's probably talking about the players like slaves or some shit. It's fucking Jerry Jones.
Yeah, and obviously there's stuff still going down with that whole Washington football team. It's still going down. So we still don't know what's gonna happen with that.
It wasn't even about an investigation about you guys. Yeah. You guys got fucking dragged into it. So,
but for me, honestly, to me, Gruden was never the answer. When they rehired him, I didn't want him back. I thought, he had his time, and I thought the way his coaching style is not for today's game.
That makes sense.
I just thought it passed them, and to me, it kind of
knock on some wood. If you feel me.
And I really think it did, And So I think it's a blessing in disguise because they still went on and had a good season, made the playoffs. Yeah, they lost to the Bengals in the first round, but they still got to the playoffs, and now they got some momentum going in this year. Yeah, it's under a new coaching staff, a whole new regime, but they still have momentum. This team knows what it's like to be there, and I think they want to get there again. But like I said, the division is going to be hard. Russell Wilson's in Denver now. The Chargers are going to be better with Justin Herbert. The Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. I mean, they're arguably the toughest division in football. So
the Cowboys have the easiest schedule in the league again.
Well, yeah, they play in the worst division in football. So I mean, that's not.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something, Raul. It blows this fool's mind that I don't mind having the easiest schedule in the fucking league.
It doesn't matter. Listen, you same thing happens every year. You guys get excited because you're winning games, and then it crushes your little heart. So
we live the same fucking path where we get to the first round of the playoffs, and both of us get knocked off. Would you like to the gentleman bet that it's been a gentleman bet because I don't hold you to it. But you want to make the bet we make?
Let's do it. Let's do it. We're going to kick your ass. The gentleman's bet is who ends up with a better record.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's just set the rules here, okay? Who ends up with a better record? But let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that we get to the end and... Hold on, let me work this out in my head. Hold on.
While you work it out, just know, everybody that's listening to this podcast, and Drem, you don't know this, I fucking have won. The 1 year we betted, whoever lost had to dress up in the opposing team's jersey and do a Facebook video talking about, losing the bet, and this is what I get. And I fucking didn't hold him to it. I was like, it's all good, bro.
To it. I don't give a fuck.
I know he's a fucking asshole.
We would have been playing it right now.
Yeah. For sure.
I'm a dick, but
I'll hold you to it.
Listen, you're LeBron, I'm Kobe. But anyways,
okay.
So because you have a heart, like
you busting nuts in white women.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so we'll do it. If we're tied, then who makes it farther down the playoffs?
How are we gonna end up tied? You mean like we end up with the exact same record?
Yeah.
Okay. The tiebreaker would be who makes it farther in the playoffs?
Yes. Okay. We shook hands through this equipment.
Yeah, I seen it. It's official.
Is that listen, we're about to wrap it up.
Wait. Shut the fuck up.
What's going on here? Recording.
Is that a hickey on your face? On your neck?
It's not fucking.
Jesse has a hickey.
What if Dick? Let me tell you something. Number one.
What the? Wait, what are you, 12?
No. Listen, here's my
Evelyn. What are you thinking?
I just had my 10-year anniversary. It was very passionate. It was fun. But you fucking burn. You can't just burn like that. What if I burn myself straightening my hair, you asshole? What the fuck?
Oh, he's got a hickey. It's a big old hickey. I'm going to post it.
It's not a big ass hickey.
I recorded that, by
You're
the way.
Bitch. I have a question about your hair. I like this.
No, okay. First of all, let me tell you something.
You look like it's just naturally are those natural oils of your hair?
No. Listen.
Because you look like a cholo.
Stop talking. Okay, stop talking. First of all, listen, today was a very early day. And so when it's early day, I just throw a little bit of gel on just so I look decent on a Zoom call.
You don't look bad.
And that's all I need to do. I just need to look decent enough on a Zoom call because I work at home. And so, this is the lazy look, right? Usually I will put pomade on it.
He looks like Mario from what's it, Mario Lopez right now. Rocking the Mario Lopez dog. Drem, am I lying? Look at this fool. Look like he's got tres flores going on.
Yeah, I thought you had some tres flores in there for a little bit.
I'm telling
you know what it is.
I thought he was gonna pull out his little pocket comb.
He's gonna put on a fucking wave cap right now.
Let me tell you where these oils are coming from. It's because we're sweating balls for you guys. Just so you guys know, we are all sweating balls right now. My balls are wet and sweaty and they're moving around in between my thighs. You know how we do it? We do it for you fuckers. We do it for you, for this entertainment. But we are sweating because JJ got a studio that doesn't have any fucking air conditioning because inflation is fucking sky high. Thanks, Joe Biden. And now we're suffering because of Joe.
Because gas is fucking $7.
Yeah, my truck's
Fucking 14 to 15 miles a gallon.
Yeah,
it hurts.
You know what? It's not the.
Thanks, Joe Biden.
Fuck you. You're not making enough money. If you can't afford gas, you're not making enough money.
Joe.
Everything goes up, dog. Everything goes up. If your pay didn't go up, that's a personal problem. Right?
Alrighty then. I actually agree
so
with that.
So it's a capitalist stance?
That's kind of what you're kind of saying what I would have said.
Yeah, you're rubbing off. All right, guys. Drem, thank you for coming on and doing the sports segment as always. Thanks for fucking coming because I know you come from far as fuck. And Drem's rants are coming soon, guys. I'm gonna fucking we're gonna do this for damn sure because we have to. And then Raul is you're not gonna disappear on us again, are you?
Got one trip in July.
In July? When? We'll work that out. Don't worry about it.
We'll work that out, baby. Mm-hmm. Don't worry. It's
anything you want to say? You want to say? You gonna let Chad listen to this? Just this part?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I'll tell him the whole thing. I don't care.
We love you, Chad. Now I'm just obsessed. I want to know who the. I'm just Chad, intrigued about how fucking famous. You know,
hot. You know what do you want me to do, Chad? But no, because I was talking about my sweaty balls, and my boss is gonna listen to me talk about my sweaty balls, and that's gonna be a little weird. So when I see him, balls sweaty now.
It's entertaining. It's entertainment.
Yeah,
it's entertainment.
That's all it is, Chad.
All right, guys.
All right, fellas. Just want to say thank you for being a guest for the second time. The first person to do that, right? To be on it twice.
Drem, you're not a Drem.
Appreciate that.
I think that's like no longer really a guest.
You're
anymore.
not a guest anymore.
Like, you know?
Yeah, you're a fuck.
You're the, like in the logo. You're the little sports guy.
You're the sports guy.
Jesse's the music. I'm the light because I'm the smart one, and you're the sports one.
For sure. Well, appreciate you guys.
And then, we got these very, very nice cups made that I'll post them on the IG and everywhere else so you guys can see them. And I just want to thank at Becca's Creepy Crafts for making this. That's Becca's BECKAS Creepy Crafts on Instagram. Thank you so much for the cups. Me and Raul fucking love them. We're super psyched.
Love them. I'm kind of stoked.
They're really, really awesome. And she makes a bunch of great stuff like this. It's like a Starbucks cup with our graphics on it.
Graphic came out legit.
It's awesome. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one.